It's past 7 o'clock, so let the annual town meeting come to order. If you'd all please stand, we'll face the flag and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, and indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On my left is Susan Copeland, our town clerk, Mark Smith, our vice chair of the finance department, the finance committee, excuse me. Mr. Pontbriand is sitting in the back, our town manager, and in the front, in the pink, Sean Copeland, our chair of the select board, and next to him is Scott Hood, vice chair. Our clerk, unfortunately, is ill tonight and cannot attend. Would those members of the town departments please stand? Start with Mark Rich. Mark Rich, our town council. Next to him is Lisa Gabri, our outgoing town accountant, who's been absolutely fabulous in managing the town budgets. Alan Minoyan, our economic development officer. Fred Aponte, our new town accountant, who aspires to do as well as Ms. Gabri. And next to her is Dr. Petrossi from the Senior Center and Council on Aging. Behind her is Mr. Kilcommons, is it correct? No. Mr. Tom Hogan, our town assessor. Next to him is Kevin Johnston, our benefits administrator. Ms. Alicia Hersey, the assistant and economic development director, and et cetera. And let's see, Richard Braley, is it correct? No. Oh, wait a minute, Heather Hampson from, I've only been here a year and a half, so I'm doing the best I can. Heather is our administrator for the building department. Over here in the corner is Carly Antonellis, our assistant town manager, who works vigorously to get a lot of things done at town hall for the manager. Behind him, the next person is Jeff Thomas, who manages our parks. And then who is next? Oh, wait a minute, you're not standing. Okay, Dan Van Shelwick, our new DPW director. Mark Archambault, our town planner. Let's see, Barbara Tierney, the treasurer, and Charlie Schultz, correct, from building department? And then Chuck Schultz, our facilities director. And last but not least, the man we always hope is at our house with a fire, our fire chief, Chief Timothy Johnston. Thank you. Oh, where's the police? Wait a minute, I haven't finished yet. The police chief is guarding us all, and where is he? Oh, yes, Chief Brian Gill. And we're not going to forget her tonight. But Cindy Knox, our IT director, who's up in the stall in the back in the heat, managing all the presentations. Did I miss anyone? And as Mr. Pontbriand says, you can't do it without a team. So it's a great team of people. Thank you. Okay. First of all, tonight, because we're with less COVID constraints, there will be a microphone in each aisle. When I recognize you to speak, please state your name and address, and that's for the record for Ms. Copeland. Direct your thoughts and questions to me. I will then recognize someone to answer the question if necessary. I'm going to ask that when you get up to speak, please keep in mind that those around you are your neighbors and friends. They're volunteering their time to consider these important town matters. If I raise my hand like this and you are in fact speaking, please pause because I want to have a conversation with you. I'd like to quote, as I did last fall, Jim Doherty, an Andover moderator, who said, "I don't have a formal time limit, and we do not have one here in Ayer. But I did tell the meeting that about 3 minutes is enough to make your point. After 5, you put them to sleep. After 7, they're going to vote against you, even if they agree with you." So I urge you to take this sage advice and remember, if a point has been made once, there's no reason to repeat it. Ayer's town meeting is conducted in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 3943A, and town bylaws, which guide us, providing the principles and rules of conduct contained in town meeting time. This book is available for $27 from the Mass Moderators Association if you'd like a copy. Just come see me. Or you can take it out of your local library network. When we vote, I will ask you to raise your pink card. Could you raise one of yours? They didn't give me one. So you'll raise your pink cards so we know those that are voting versus those that aren't. Before voting begins, in case we have amendments or other considerations, I will restate the motion and the necessary vote. I will count those in favor and then count those opposed. If I'm unable to determine a supermajority, 2/3, I will ask you to stand and the tellers will count the vote. If 7 voters question my determination of the vote, they may rise and I will direct the tellers to confirm it by a standing vote. If town meeting is still in session at 8:30, I'll call for a 10-minute recess so that those that need to use the restroom may do so, and please return promptly. I want to offer a warm welcome to anyone who has not attended town meeting before or has only attended 1 or 2 meetings in the past. We look forward to your points of view, questions, and comments, and most importantly, to your votes. Thank you for being here this evening. Lastly, a word about privileged motions, such as point of order or a question of privilege, which are often misused. A speaker may not be interrupted by a motion to terminate debate. Calling out, move the question or scope is also not permissible. One needs to be recognized by the moderator to address the meeting. Please respect one another. Thank you. Now I call upon the the Vice Chair of the Finance Committee, Mr. Smith.
Good evening. Good evening. It is requested that the town manager, department heads of the town and the staff, superintendent of Ayer Shirley Regional School District and staff, Neshoba Valley Vocational Technical School Superintendent and staff, member of the General Court representing Ayer, Town Council, and any consultants or those with pertinent information relative to articles to be acted on this meeting be permitted to address the meeting without further motion.
May I have a second? All in favor? Yes.
Can we have discussion on that motion?
Would you like to have discussion, Chief Gill?
I would.
Okay.
Are we saying that we're blanketly allowing anybody to address town meeting, even if they're not residents? Mr. Moderator, Brian
Yes.
Gill, Pearl
Yes,
Street.
Mr. Gill.
Are we saying that we're going to allow anybody to address town meeting, including non-residents?
If in fact they have an article or there's pertinent information that they have relative to an article, that would be a more efficient way. But if we need to amend the motion to preempt those that are non-residents, I will entertain that motion to amend.
I would offer that this town meeting should reserve their right to address article by article who addresses town meeting. And that I would request this town meeting to vote not to adopt this article or this motion.
All in favor of the amendment?
Yeah,
All opposed?
Kinda.
Okay, the ayes have it. Yes, what we voted for is that those that are members of the general court, the town council, town department heads, the town manager, members of the school committees, and their staff may address the meeting without further motion. Non-residents, are you saying every non-resident, Mr. Gill?
What I'm saying is that town meeting should reserve its right and not accept this amendment as presented by the moderator to address each and every article and to who addresses this body. I don't think it's right that we should give away our authority and our legal right as the town meeting to have anybody address us. So I think that the body, when they took that vote, was confused as to what they were actually voting on. So I would like the moderator to clearly state what this body is about to vote on.
What the intent of the motion was to allow those non-residents that are employed by the town or assist the town, or those with information relative to an article. And we only have one article where there's a non-resident who would like to speak regarding the article that he has mentioned. That person would have been allowed were this motion to pass. If the body prefers to choose as each article comes up, then we will do so.
Mr. Moderator?
Yes, sir.
Hi, may I speak to the initial motion?
Yes?
It seems to me that the purpose of us being here is to make an informed decision regarding the articles before us. Sometimes information regarding those articles will be in the possession of expert testimony, department heads who do not live in town, consultants that have been hired by the town to review various amounts of data and provide informed consent. Of course we want to hear from them. If we're unable to hear from them, then we cannot make an informed decision as to what is in the best interest of this town. They are not voting on it. They are not necessarily advocating for a particular point of view, but they are providing us with the information that we will need. And I think that we need to hear from them.
Yes, sir.
I would just like to remind this town meeting that it wasn't too long ago that it unanimously voted down somebody addressing this body who had a citizen's petition from another town to address this body, and we unanimously stopped it because we didn't want to hear from that person in that petition. So I agree with you. I think that any information that helps us decide is appropriate. But I think that the town meeting should do that article by article.
Does anyone else wish to speak to the article, to the motion? Okay, so we have right now a motion to amend to say that each and every article will discuss and decide if a non-resident may speak. And if not, voting in that amendment, then we shall continue with past practice, which is to only allow those to speak that are residents without an affirmative vote. Actually, it's if one person objects, then the person was not able to speak in past practice. Does anybody have any thoughts on the matter other than that? Okay. So right now, we'll vote on that each and every article will be independently treated, and that those that wish to speak that are non-residents may present themselves, and the meeting shall vote as to whether they may address the meeting. All those in favor of that, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? No. Okay, the ayes have it. Moving on. Madam Clerk, do you have reason to believe that this meeting was appropriately called by the Select Board and the Constable made a return of service on the warrant in accordance with the laws of the Commonwealth?
Yes.
Could you read the charge?
Town of Ayer Annual Town Meeting Warrant, Ayer Shirley Regional High School Auditorium, 141 Washington Street, Ayer, Massachusetts, 01432. April 25th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Middlesex County. Greetings. In the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you are hereby directed to notify and warn the inhabitants of the town of Ayer qualified to vote in the town elections and affairs to meet in the auditorium of the Ayer Shirley Regional High School, located at 141 Washington Street, Ayer, Massachusetts, on Monday, the 25th day of April, 2022, at 7 o'clock in the evening, then and there to act on the following articles. Hereof fail not, and make due return of this warrant, with your doings thereof, to the town clerk before the date appointed for said meeting. Given under our hands this 5th day of April, AD 2022. Sean C. Copeland, Chair. Scott A. Hood, Vice Chair. Janice L. Livingston, Clerk.
Thank you. Oh, go ahead.
I wasn't finished. A true copy attest, Susan E. Copeland, Town Clerk, dated April 8th, 2022. As directed in the foregoing warrant, I have this day posted 3 attested copies in 3 public places, one of which was the Town Hall at least 7 days before said meeting, all as herein directed. Samuel A. Goodwin, Jr., Constable, dated April 8th, 2022.
Yes, Mr. Sullivan.
Connie Sullivan, 79 East Main Street. I just wanted to bring to the body's attention, it has been a long-standing tradition of our town, at least for the 36 years I've lived here, that we've had a warrant mailed to our homes. I understand that that's not necessarily a legal requirement, but certainly has been a long-standing tradition. And I don't know how many other people here tonight did not receive a warrant, but I had been waiting for the last couple of weeks, and it wasn't until today I finally printed one out, obviously not having received it in the mail. It just would have been nice to have had that much sooner, to have an opportunity to review it, perhaps to discuss with our neighbors some of the articles that were in the warrant, and you know, that opportunity went by the wayside. But I'd be curious, just by a show of hands, anybody that did not receive a copy of the warrant at your home?
Mr. Sullivan, please address the matter to myself.
Mr. Moderator.
Yes. Could you show your hands if you did not receive a warrant at home prior to the meeting? You want to raise your hand, don't you, Mr. Sullivan?
Well, I thought it was obvious.
So I believe there are 3. I apologize for the Postal Service. There may have been some snafu, but I understand that Ms. Antonellis reviewed with the Postal Service their activity, and they certified that they did deliver to over 3,500 homes the copy of the warrant. Unfortunately, maybe a recommendation is we'll send it out sooner next year.
That would be appreciated. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Okay. Mr. Smith.
It is moved that if all the business of the meeting as set forth in the warrant for the annual town meeting is not disposed of at this session, when the meeting adjourns, it adjourns to Tuesday, April 26th, 2022 at 7 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. What Mr. Smith is saying is that we hope to conclude tonight. There's every expectation we will, but just in the event of some urgent matter that we don't, or extended debate, we would adjourn until tomorrow evening at 7. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All against? No. The ayes have it. Okay. As is customary, do we have a list, Ms. Knox, of those that have passed, that gave service to the town of Ayer and have passed in the last year? You do? Oh. Thank you, Ms. Antonellis. Okay, in memoriam, I will ask for a moment of silence after I conclude their names. Robert Hammond, Laura Callahan, Paul Bresnahan, Marie Carpenter, Barbara Alderman, Ruth Drew, Sarah Bush, Therese Vincent, Theodore Janiskevitz, John Horgan, and Janet Lewis. I'm sure you'd all agree that we appreciate their bountiful service to the town of Ayer, and we're all better for it. Okay, our first article, Article 1, Salaried of Elected Officials. To see if the town will vote to fix the salary and compensation of elected officers of the town of Ayer as provided by Section 108, Chapter 41, Mass General Laws as amended, or take any action thereto. Mr. Copeland.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to fix the salary and compensation of elected officers of the town of Ayer as contained in Article 1 and read by the moderator.
You can see them up on the board here. Do we have a second? Okay, is there any debate? No, no debate. Okay, we'll take a vote then. All in favor of the article as presented up on the screen, please say aye. Aye. All against? It's a unanimous vote, and I so declare it. Article 2, Contract Funding, Ayer International Firefighters Association, Local 2554. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate or transfer from available funds a sum of money to fund the first year costs of a collective bargaining agreement between the town of Ayer and the Ayer International Firefighters Association, Local 2544, for the period July 1, 2022 through June 30th, 2025, or take any action thereto.
Mr. Moderator,
Mr. Copeland, Mr. Hood.
I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $46,052 to fund the first year cost items of the firefighters' collective bargaining agreement as contained in Article 2, read by the moderator.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Mr. Moderator?
Yes, Mr. Manager.
Through you, we have just a brief slide on the impacts of that. Through you.
Please present that.
Good evening. The collective bargaining agreement for the fire department was negotiated by myself, the assistant town manager, Ms. Antonellis, the fire chief, Johnston, Deputy Chief Janiskevitz, and Mr. Johnston, the benefits and payroll manager, with the fire union for a 3-year agreement to start July 1st of 2022 to expire June 30th of 2025. And it just had, that's right, one. There. Okay, thank you, Cindy. So the warrant article under state law, town meeting has to authorize the first year costs of the agreement, which is $46,052. This includes a 2% cost of living adjustment. This contract covers 13 firefighters. As mentioned, it's a 3-year agreement. The detailed contract memorandum of agreement, which has all of the details and terms, has been on the website. The second year of the contract, $31,270. Third year, $31,752, for a total over the 3 years of $109,074. In addition to the COLA, one of the other significant cost items is an investment in the training for the firefighters. So the town and the union agreed a last cycle in the contract to create a training fund, and there is an escalator in the training fund through the contract, which is an investment in our folks. Mr. Moderator, thank you.
Is there any debate regarding Article 2? Okay, we'll take a vote. All in favor of Article 2 as presented by the manager and Mr. Hood, please say aye. Aye. All against? It's a unanimous vote, and I so declare it. Go on to Article 3, contract funding for the Air Police Superior Officers. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate or transfer from available funds a sum of money to fund the first year cost items of a collective bargaining agreement between the town of Ayer and the Air Police Superior Officers, NEPBA number 32, for the period of July 1, 2022 through June 30, 2025, or take any action thereto.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $29,857 to fund the first-year cost items of the Police Superior Officers Collective Bargaining Agreement as contained in Article 3 and read by the moderator.
Do you have anything, Mr. Manager?
There was a second, Mr. Moderator.
Oh, is there a second?
Mr. Moderator, through you, quickly, again, so this is the contract impact slide for the police superiors contract or the police sergeants. This contract was negotiated by Chief Gill, myself as town manager, the assistant town manager, and benefits payroll manager. This contract is a 3-year contract, July 1, 2022 to June 30th, 2025. The first year costs are $29,857. Again, this includes a 2% cost of living. Year 2 is $26,829. Year 3, $27,349, for a total of $84,035 over the life of the contract for 3 years. And this contract covers the 4 police sergeants. And again, that contract memorandum of agreement is available on the town's website.
Is there any debate? Seeing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor of Article 3 as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
All against? It's a unanimous vote, and I so declare it. Article 4, contract funding Air Department of Public Works, Union Local 1703, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate or transfer from available sums a sum of money to fund the first year cost items of a collective bargaining agreement between the town of Ayer and the Air Department of Public Works, AFSCME 93, Local 1703, for the period of July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2025, or take any action or in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator.
Yes, Mr. Copeland.
I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $60,253 to fund the first-year cost items of the Department of Public Works collective bargaining agreements as contained in Article 4 and read by the moderator.
We have a second. Is there any debate?
Mr. Moderator?
Yes, Mr. Manager.
Just one more slide on this
Okay.
contract through you. So for Article 4, the Department of Public Works contract was negotiated by myself as the town manager, along with the assistant town manager, the director of Public Works, Mr. Van Shalwick, and the benefits and payroll manager, Mr. Johnson, with the DPW union. This is also a 3-year agreement. The first year costs are $60,253, again including a 2% COLA. Year 2 is $41,779. Year 3, $44,312, for a total of $146,344 over the 3-year contract period. And this collective bargaining agreement covers 19 employees in the water, wastewater, highway, and solid waste divisions of the DPW. I also want to point out, and a thanks to the union through the negotiations, At the suggestion and recommendation of the Select Board, one of the proposals was to increase the public hours of operation at the transfer station. The Select Board and the town had heard town meeting, and many had wanted this, and they did agree. So the contract includes increased public transfer station hours will be on Wednesday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. starting July 1st of this year. And again, the contract MOA is on the website.
Is there any discussion? Yes, Mr. James.
James Stephen from Groton School Road. Just information on all three of these contracts. Why are the years different? What's in each one that, makes it different from the other one?
Mr. Moderator?
Yes.
Through you to Mr. Stevens' question as to why do the amounts change in each year. There are different variables within the memorandum of agreement, different terms that are agreed that have different cost impacts. Generally, the first year is the higher of the year, as it may be a new incentive, whether it's for clothing or education or so forth. And then those initial costs tend to be incorporated within it moving forward. So again, without getting way down into the weeds, that's why it's not a fixed amount per se every year, but it usually goes down. The highest year is the first year.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All against? It's a unanimous vote, and I so declare it. Moving on to Article 5. Sorry, I knew that was going to happen. Okay, authorization to enter into a 5-year contract for police department taser equipment. To see if the town will vote to authorize the town to enter into a 5-year service contract with Axon Enterprises, Inc. for the purpose of upgrading the police department's taser equipment for the period July 1 of 2022 through June 30 of 2027, or take any action thereon or in relation thereto. Mr. Hood.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to authorize the town to enter into a 5-year service contract with Axon Enterprises for the purpose of upgrading the police department's taser equipment for the period of July 1, 2022 through June 30, 2027, as contained in Article 5 and read by the moderator.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Mr. Moderator?
Yes, sir, Mr. Manager.
Through you, Mr. Moderator. For town meeting's benefit, Article 5 is looking for town meeting's authorization to enter into a 5-year contract. As stated in the warrant, the select board or the town manager or other entity has authority up to 3 years. Anything over 3 years requires authorization from town meeting. And through the moderator, I believe Chief Gill has a brief slide on that.
Chief Gill? Yes, Mr. Chief Gill.
Okay, some history as to what we need to do here. In 2012, the town of Ayer adopted getting into what is commonly referred to as the TASER program, which is a tool that is at our disposal that helps us stay further and further away from other tools that we have on our belt. This is what's called a less than lethal tool. So in 2012 is when we got our first supply of them, and we shared 4 of them. What happened as a result of going to that program, we really noticed a change in the way we had to deal with people who were aggressive. One of the things that we noticed, and they're all positives, is that the fact that they were yellow, people readily recognized what they were. So we really diffused a situation that we showed up to, and without even having to take it out of our holster because they recognized that we had them. About 2015, we started to notice, because we were passing 4 of them around, that we really should be authorizing or issuing them to everybody. Because what was happening as we were passing around, they were getting damaged. coming in and out of holsters all the time, and just the wear and tear of going back and forth between officers. So in around 2015, all of our officers were issued the taser, what's called the X2, and that's what you see up here. We very rarely use them. We have to report to the state every year, anytime that we actually turn them on, because everything that we do with those is recorded. So we are happy to know that just the mere fact that we have them on, that they're bright yellow, really brings down a violent and, a scenario where we normally would have to go to, say, pepper spray or a baton, or just, regular, just kind of rolling around with people and fighting with them. This has really, really diffused that. So in 2015, every officer started to get them. They say that there's about a life expectancy of these. They're really just plastic and with electronic parts in them. So they say there's a 5 to 7 year life expectancy. So we went through 5. We got to the year 5. We opted to stay into a warranty program. In the last inspection that we did with these, they started to malfunction. So they're actually coming out of service. We're at a point now where we have a couple that are down, and we need to get into them, a new batch of them. Normally what we would do is just try to repair them and then bring them in. Unfortunately, the tasers that we carry right now, they don't make anymore. There's no parts for them, and we need to get into a new platform. So we started to talk to Taser, which is their parent company is called Axon, and they said, okay, we can get you into a 3-year program or a 5-year program. And what that would do would cover all the costs, all the warranty for the devices. It's a 0% interest program. And really tonight, all we're looking to do is to reduce our budget, because right now in our omnibus budget that we put in for the 3 years that we are allowed to do, and now we're just looking to get into a 5-year, which would reduce the budget from $23,000 a year to $13,000 a year. So we're looking to bring it down by about $10,000. So that's what this budget, that's what this article is about, is just entering into a 5-year contract to allow us to get the equipment that we've been carrying and really diffusing situations in the community. So that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion about tasers? Seeing none, I'll take a vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? It's a unanimous vote, and I so declare it. Okay. The next item on the agenda is Article 6. Please refer to your budget book and the town warrant. We're going to handle the budget a little differently. Oh, wait a minute. Yes. We're going to handle the budget a little differently this year. I'll read out the departments. If there's a department that someone wishes to discuss, please say pass, or rather hold. Pass was the old word. We'll hold it for discussion, and those departments that have no discussion, we'll just pass them by as we conclude. So the first department is 100 general government for a total sum of $870,000. Oh, wait a minute, excuse me, that's the wrong year. $1,014,292. Does anyone wish to discuss General Government Department 1? Okay. Department 2, Finance, for a total sum, let's see, where is it? Okay. $6,501,070. Does anyone wish to discuss Department 200, Finance? Okay. Department 300, Public Safety, for a total budget of $5,751,403. Does anyone wish to discuss Department 300, Public Safety? Department 400, Public Works, for a total budget of $1,769,365. Does anyone wish to discuss Department 400 Public Works? Okay. Department 500, for a total budget of $1,338,564. Does anyone wish to discuss Department 500? Department 600, Management Support, for a total budget of $588,230. Does anyone wish to discuss Department 600? Okay, let's start with Department 1. Department 100. Select Board, $342,002. Does anyone wish to discuss Select Board? What? No, it didn't get written second. Okay. Well, that's a good thing. Go to the... Okay. The motion is to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of money for the fiscal 2023 omnibus budget items or take any action thereto with the departments that I've read. General Government, Department 100, Finance Department 200, Public Safety Department 300, Public Works Department 400, Human Services Department 500, and Management Support Department 600.
Mr. Moderator,
Yes, Mr. Hood.
I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $60,962,924 to fund the FY 2023 omnibus budget as contained in Article 6 and read by the moderator.
Second. Second.
So we're going to discuss all 6 departments. We're going to start with Select Board for a total sum of $342,002. Anyone wish to discuss the Select Board budget? Yes.
Can we have some explanation?
Please step up to the mic before you
Can we have some explanation from the Board of Selectmen on why there's a 22% increase? It has a note of about $50,000 for an administrative assistant. Is that a new position? And then it says $9,402 in personal service contract increases. We can have a little bit more detail on that.
Yes.
Mr. Moderator?
Yes.
The Select Board does have a presentation on the budget, and it does touch upon some of the personnel
Okay,
changes in the budget.
let's start with that. Mr. Manager, do you intend to present the budget?
Mr. Moderator, I do have a very brief presentation on the budget, and then I made notes to Mr. Sullivan's specific questions, which I think some will touch in the presentation. If not, I'll come back to it.
Thank you.
Cindy? So as we often talk about, the budget is a process. It basically starts July 1st and runs right through June 30th. So what I'm going to share with you tonight in the interest of time is just a very brief high-level snapshot of some of the major themes in the budget. If I was to do a whole budget presentation, we'd probably be here till August. I did do a public presentation on the budget with the department heads on January 26th, March 1st at the Select Board meeting, and March 16th. So this first slide, I just want to point out to you, to town meeting, and the town should be very proud of this as a whole, is that we are in a position of fiscal stability and financial strength as we come into the FY23 budget. Our certified free cash was over $2.5 million. This was somewhat of an anomaly this year. Normally the average is somewhere between $1 million to 1.5, but there was a higher level of free cash driven by 3 major factors. One was funds that were turned back by the departments. Additionally, there was an overlay impact, and there was over an $800,000 increase in state revenues from the beginning of the budget process. Our stabilization fund Think of that as sort of our savings account, if you will. The stabilization fund cannot be activated by the select board or by me or by any department head. It requires a 2/3 vote of town meeting at a town meeting. So this is sort of saving for the future. We're at over $2.6 million in the stabilization account. Per our financial policies, we should have at a minimum of 7% of the total budget. So for this year, the budget is $16.9 million. So we are in excess of our financial policies there. Capital stabilization, same, $2.7 million. And over the last several years, we've been putting the lion's share into capital stabilization, as there are many capital needs for the town. Lastly, the 2021 Standard & Poor bond rating, which is an independent financial entity, rates the town's bond rating at AA2. The significance, this indication by a third-party entity, a strong local economy, strong management, strong financial policies and practices, and strong financial reserves. This bond rating also helps us in terms of borrowing, which we'll talk about later tonight. Next. So just real quick, these two slides basically show, obviously, it has to be a balanced budget, as you all know. Revenues, $34.1 million. Expenses and savings, $34.1 million. Again, you can see the breakdowns. State aid, just over $1 million. The principal funding source is the tax levy at $27.2 million. Local receipts, $2.5. There's that free cash number, 2.5, capital stabilization, enterprise fund impact. And this slide is just basically showing you the sources from revenue to expenses in the balance. Next. Then real quick on these two pie graphs, again, as I mentioned, 82% of the revenue for the municipal budget is from the tax levy. We only receive about 3% from state aid. Free cash, about 8%. Local receipts and others, another 7%. And then over here, our general fund expenditures. What do we spend this money on as a town? The principal amount is on education, 42.5%, which we'll talk later under Article 7 and Article 8, the two school assessments. The next largest category at 7.6% is public safety, fire, police, DPW, followed by employee benefits. Human services, about 4.2%. Public works, about 5.7%. Debt service, 2.7%. Next. Omnibus budget revenues. There's been overall a trend in our revenues going up. FY22, it was $30.9 million. This year, FY23, $33.1 million. Next. So the major movement with the revenues, again, state aid, a slight increase, 1%. Fortunately, we're not heavily reliant on state aid. The tax base, again, an increase about 1.1 million or 4.5%. The debt exclusions, our debt actually has come down, which is good. About 256,000 came off of the debt, so a decrease of 17%. Local receipts up about 8%. Other free cash, again, a significant increase, as I mentioned. And then just slight deviation on the cherry sheet and the overlay. But overall, the revenue increase about 7.2%. Next. And again, showing the expenses on the budget. Again, in an ideal world, we'd love to keep this completely level. As you can see, somewhat of from 16.2 million to 16.9 million, about just over $600,000 increase over last year. Next. Our operating expenses by category, again, municipalities are in the business, if you will, of public service in providing municipal services, and to do that, we need the professional folks and the best people we have in all of these positions. About 50% of our operating is on wages, another 25.6% on benefits. Debt, about 5.2%, driven largely by our various projects, and then 18% of covers all other expenses. But just to show the lion's share, almost 75% of what we do is related to our employees. Next. I just want to highlight and to touch upon, Mr. Sullivan asked a question under the Select Board budget. There is a new position proposed for $50,000. I want to point out that there are actually 4 full-time positions proposed in this budget, and they were initially proposed to the Select Board by the town management back in the fall and have gone through this process. The first one is a new position, is a town social worker, full-time position, $65,000 a year. There's been an increased need and demand for professional social services, including senior services, addiction, substance abuse, housing, homelessness issues, food insecurity, mental health, and healthcare issues that are affecting all departments, and our folks do a great job, but there is really a need for a full-time social worker. So that's one of the proposals you'll see later in the omnibus budget. Under DPW, when we get there, the DPW director has proposed a DPW junior engineer at $57,253. And then, as Mr. Sullivan mentioned, the Select Board Town Management Office admin support, full-time position, $50,000. The position would provide administrative support for the offices of the Select Board Town Manager, functions to include clerical and office support, public inquiries and assistance, minute-taking and processing for the various committees under the Select Board, parking tickets, notary services, and overall improved customer service. And then lastly, a planning and conservation full-time admin support position at $45,000. This would provide 20 hours of administrative support to the Conservation Commission and 20 hours of administrative support to the Planning Board. Increased development and land use challenges have necessitated this additional administrative support. The Conservation Commission approached the Select Board at the end of last summer, and I know that the Planning Board also is experiencing a lot of these land use challenges, and this is an investment in that area. Next. So the major drivers in the budget, and we'll come to this really again. There's an increase in education, 509. The fire department, health insurance went up about 6.8%. This is sort of a fixed cost that we get every February that we're sort of subject to. The Middlesex County pension assessment, 6.4%. Police department, slight increase. Again, there's that debt service number coming down, which is a positive. The social worker position, the position itself is $65,000, and then another $2,500 for the office. The Select Board, the increase is $62,106. $50,000 of that is the new position. And when I finish this through the moderator, we can answer Mr. Sullivan's other question there. The Council on Aging is about a $60,000 increase of 38.4%. We're restoring the nutrition coordinator position that had been temporarily taken out of the budget during COVID as the senior center was hit pretty hard by the COVID shutdown. That position is coming back into the budget, and you'll also see in your insert, we're also investing in the food program and some other programs within the Council on Aging. And then management support, this number here, the $51,742, that position, a big piece of that is the conservation planning position. Next. And then this is just, which we'll probably come to after, is Article 7, the Ayer Shirley Regional School District assessment is increasing by about 4%, actually 3.57%, $452,597. And Neshoba Valley Technical, which will be Article 8, there is an increase on the assessment, which we'll be talking about under those. So that's just a quick snapshot on the overall budget. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you. So again, we have Mr. Sullivan, who had a question regarding the Select Board budget.
I think Mr. Pomperian, Mr. Moderator, was going to address those.
Yes.
Mr. Moderator.
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan, would you just repeat your question? I'm sorry.
You had a $50,000 item
Yep.
in the notes section
Yes.
For a new administrative assistant.
Yeah.
What's driving the demand for a new administrative assistant? And the second question is, you're showing a notation of $9,402 in personal service contract increases. If you could give an explanation on what that's all about, other than the obvious, but what's generating that?
Sure. So as mentioned, I put forth a proposal for a new administrative position. For the Select Board's office currently is staffed by myself as the town manager and Ms. Antonellis as the assistant town manager. We moved to the town manager form of government in 2018. This proposal here is due to an increase in the workload and responsibilities of the town manager's office and the select board's office to have a third position dedicated to doing the functions I had mentioned on the earlier slide, a lot of the minute taking, some of the support with the various things that our office does, customer service. It really, we're at a critical point where there really is a need for that third position. And that's why we had put that forward. Over here, the 9,402 is the personal service contract increases. My contract expires on June 30th of this year, as does the assistant town manager. The contracts were up for negotiation. In Ms. Antonellis' case, I negotiated the contract with her and brought it to the select board, which ratified it on March 1st. And then I brought the terms of my contract and negotiated with the select board on March 1st. And it was ratified then. Cindy, can you pull up? And I'll show you how this number of 9,402, how we come to that. Okay, we'll start with me as the town manager. Yeah, could you go back? Yeah, thank you. So I'm currently, obviously, the town manager. This is my 12th year. This shows the surrounding towns. This is what I presented to the select board when I negotiated with them. These are the towns. In bold capital are the towns that have a town manager form of government. There's not as many. Groton has one, Ayer, Lunenburg, and Athol. Most have town administrators. There is a difference. The town manager, as we talked about in 2018, has broader authority in terms of personnel matters and other functions related to the administration of the government, more so than the town administrator. And what I did in preparation for my contract is I looked at comparable communities. And here at Ayer, my FY23 salary would be $157,101 with a population of 8,164 people. Our population's gone up almost 1,000 in the last 10 years, and there's the budget. This is for FY23, July 1st of 2022. You can see that Ayer, what I'm putting forth, is really in the median. I mean, it's right around Groton is slightly higher, but Harvard, Littleton, and Pepperell, that all have town administrators, not town managers, are still significantly, still higher. And then, so I just wanted to show that I didn't just come up with a number, that it did a comparative analysis when I went to the board in terms of the overall salary. Next. So my base salary is $149,646. That's a grade 17. We have a personnel grid that has 17 grades, and there are 11 steps. Grade 17 is the highest grade, 11 is the maximum step. In between each step is a 2.25% increase. You get a step increase if you have a favorable performance evaluation. I've been stepped out, this is the third year, meaning stepped out, that there's no more advancement on the grid. So my base salary in this budget would be $149,646. It includes the 2% COLA, which was voted for all non-union personnel. And there's an education stipend that's 5% of my base, which would be $7,453. It's currently $3,000 a year, and that's how I get to the $157,099. Next. The assistant town manager, her base salary, she's been here for 8 years, is $99,347, which is a grade 14, step 6. She is contractually, she's due for a step increase for a favorable review of 2.25% on July 1st, and she also would be eligible for the 2% COLA of all non-union personnel. She has a specific professional stipend of $13,760 a year that in her contract spells out specific procurement and purchasing roles and duties in assisting myself, the management of all of the town's insurances, and as the public records coordinator for the town. And that's another area where we're looking for that admin position. The amount of public records and public records requests and so forth in all departments has increased. And then education stipend, again, the 5%, she has a master's degree, brings it to $118,65. This is about 25% less than the town manager salary. And she has the same authorization through me as I do. In other words, I can delegate functions to her. Last slide. And then on the education stipend for master's degrees, to see where I came up with this, is currently for a master's degree, these are the percentages of the base salary that senior management positions get. You can see police chief, deputy police chief at 14%, sergeants, patrol, assessor, firefighters, fire chief. And down here, town manager, I was my last contract getting $3,000 a year. I've asked for 5%, which is still, and the assistant town manager, who also has a master's degree, since she's come to the position, received no incentive per year, looking for the same 5%.
Have you concluded?
Yep.
Are there any further questions about the manager's budget?
Mr. Moderator,
Sir.
Mr. Pomprian, that certainly was helpful. My concern is, in glancing at the warrant today, just noticing the number of new positions that are being proposed for our town government. And the concern is, are we going to get top-heavy with staff? And not having a finance committee that has a quorum to weigh in on financial matters such as adding staff. What is the long-term sustainability of adding all of these new positions to town government 5-10 years down the line? So that's really my concern. And it just seemed very odd to have all of these positions being added this year. So, thank you.
Mr. Moderator, may I
Yes.
just briefly add to that? It is a lot of positions, first of all. They were introduced to both the Select Board and the Finance Committee starting last October, when there was a full Finance Committee up until recently. And through the moderator, not to speak for the FinCom, but I know that they are aware and I believe are supportive of that request. It is a significant request. If you look at the budget, it only increases a slight, very little amount from last year with those 4 positions in it. And when I come back to it again, the social worker and through the moderator can have other departments can speak to the need for that function. The Conservation Commission and the Planning Board have approached the administration about their position. The DPW director can speak to the junior engineer, and my office and the Select Board's office as well. The town of Ayer continues to grow, which is a good thing. Municipal government continues to become more complex and more involved as we move forward. And the population alone has increased just in the last 10 years by almost 1,000. So it is a lot. Is it sustainable? I would argue it is sustainable because even with those 4 positions, the budget only increased slightly. There was over $2.5 million in free cash this year, and I said that was an anomaly. But if you look at the previous 5 to 6 years, the average has been about $1.3 million in free cash as we move forward. Again, it's an investment in the town. It's an investment in those services, and that's what is presented before the town meeting for your consideration tonight. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Yes, Ms. Gugino.
Yeah, Jess Gugino, 8 Mountain View, and I'm also on the Conservation Commission. And, you know, I've been on the commission for 14 years now, and being around Town Hall a lot, you see a lot of people who are getting burned out. And in conservation, we lost our agent of 4 years because of burnout. The town's needs have increased. The town has been growing. Look at the town manager's office, and frequently there's a look of exhaustion on people in there. Hear about this with other departments. I think last year somebody was complaining that zoning is not getting enforced, and that's simply because we have 1 building inspector and not enough manpower to do what the town's needs are. So if the town is going to grow, and people's demands of town hall are going to grow and change with the times, we need to support that with taking care of our human resources. Thank you.
Is there any further questions about the Select Board budget? Moving on, is there anything for the Town Council budget? The amount of $80,000. That supports Mr. Rich.
Mr. Moderator, it supports Mr. Rich as well as many of his colleagues in other areas.
That's true. I didn't mean to pick on you, Mark. Town Clerk, $138,264. Is there any discussion? Moderator, $663. Is there any discussion? Parking tickets, $1,250. Public buildings and property maintenance, $386,117. Registration and elections, $26,796. Postage, $23,100. American Legion, $600. Memorial Day, $500. 4th of July celebration, $0. Holiday lights, $15,000. Seeing none, can we take a vote temporarily that we've concluded the Department 100 budget of $1,014,292? All in favor of concluding discussion on this budget and moving on to budget 200, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Department 200 Finance, Town Accountant, $218,953. Benefits and Payroll, $89,566. Computer Support Financial Systems, $51,942. If you wish to discuss it, please say hold, and we'll stop there. Assessors, $205,934. Treasurer Tax Collector, $208,225. Yes, for what purpose do you rise? Please come forward, Mr. Sullivan.
Mr. Moderator, if we could have the treasurer,
Please, speak
tax
into the microphone.
collector explain the need for the part-time staff hours.
Okay, who would answer that question? Ms. Tierney?
Hi. So we do have a part-time 19-hour employee that is increasing to 32 hours, and that increase is splitting between my department and the benefits and payroll department. She's very vital to us. She's a great employee, and I'm just finding as volume increases, the need for us to maintain our offices open, because we do have substantial foot traffic increases, that this would help us provide that service.
Yes, sir.
Treasurer, tax collector, so the part-time employee that you now have would become a full-time position?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any further discussion on the treasurer tax collector's office? Seeing none. Health and life insurance, $2,001,857. General insurance, $293,700. Unemployment compensation, $11,200. County retirement assessment, $2,058,373. Notes and payable principal, $706,000. Interest, $181,820. Tax title, $15,000. FICA Medicare, $158,000. Finance Committee, yes.
I'm not sure who to direct the question to, but again, it notes estimated actuals as well as a new position being added in the notes for FIC Medicare.
Would that be under the Human Services, Mr. Manager?
Mr. Moderator, through you, Mr. Johnston, the benefits and payroll manager, would be best to explain.
Thank you. Mr. Johnston.
Mr. Moderator, to answer the gentleman's question, there's no new position specifically with this increase. This is simply a calculation of the added wages for fiscal 23 times the Medicare rate of 1.45% to meet our expenses for the year.
I'm sorry, so there's no, Mr. Moderator, through you, there's no new position being created?
Not specific to this line. This line includes the cost of wages for all of the positions in town times the Medicare rate of 1.45%. So it includes the new positions we're adding to the budget.
Oh, I see.
See what I mean? So it's an aggregate number for all the wages that we pay, including the new positions that are being added.
The note was a little bit misleading, but I understand. Thank you.
Okay?
Any other further discussion? Reserve Fund, $300,000. Anyone wish to discuss the Reserve Fund? So concluding Department 2, we have a budget of $6,501,070. All in favor of moving on to Department 300, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? It's a unanimous vote. Okay, Department 300, Public Safety. Police Department, $3,299,703. Does anybody wish to discuss the Police Department? Fire Department, $2,192,432. Okay, please come forward.
My question is about the...
Name and street address, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Dennis Curran, Pleasant Street, 51 Pleasant Street. The $96,743 for the cost related to the 4 new firefighters. I understand that a federal grant is in process that will pay 3 years' worth of salaries for the 4 new firefighters. My question is, are those $96,743 additional dollars, are they 1 year, is that the total amount for the 3-year grant, or is that approximately $96,000 added each year?
Mr. Manager.
Mr. Moderator, through you to Mr. Curran's question, that is the 1-year impact for year 1. They're not reoccurring.
Any further discussion of the fire department? Building department, yes, sir.
Mr. Moderator, perhaps for the fire chief,
Yes,
what is
Mr.
generating
Johnston,
the
Chief
need
Johnston.
for 4 new firefighters for our town?
Mr. Moderator. So just, Cindy, could you bring up that SAFER grant one so we can explain it to everybody, please? While she's doing that, so what has come up since we haven't had any staffing increases in the full-time staff at the fire department since 1998 to our shift strength. And when I talk about shift strength, that would be the number of firefighters on duty in a 24-hour period, and that's at 3 at the present moment. Since 1998 to 2020, which was the grant narrative that we applied for, calls have gone up 53%. And during that period, the available hours for call firefighters has gone down. And that brings us to what we see here. So in the federal government, let me go back. So there's a grant program that's available through FEMA. So my predecessor, along with the town manager and the select board, agreed to go ahead and apply for that grant back, say 3 years ago. We were denied that grant back then. And then last year when I became chief, we asked permission to apply for that grant again. And we were notified last August that we were given that grant in the amount of $993,000, which would support the hiring of 4 firefighters. So as you see that in the screen, so it's called the SAFER grant, which is Staffing for Adequate Fire and Emergency Response. And the idea of the grant is to assist the increasing number of firefighters to help communities meet the industry minimum standards. So grant recipients must demonstrate an increased compliance with NFPA 1710 and 1720. And I have a slide to explain that in a little bit. And that is the assembly and deployment of firefighting standards. So this grant that was awarded, it pays for 4 additional firefighters over the next 3 years. And unique over the last 2 years because of COVID, that we're able to have no matching funds with this. So that grant was $993. And what that does, it covers all the salary and benefits of those additional hires. Go to the next slide, Cindy. So what you see here is the monetary value of the grant. As you can see, the total is just under $993,000. And we're in the first year. So the personnel is around just over $237,000, and the benefits that they would occur, anything to do with insurance or other benefits is there, and we come up with a total of $297,600. That'll be for the first year, this grant period. When we were first notified of this grant award, we first have 30 days to accept that. I notified the town manager's office, and then we were in open session of the select board meeting to let them know we had 30 days to accept that, in which they agreed to do that. So you'll see in the first year it's $297, and then in year 2, that grant covers just over $324,000, but in year 2, there's some additional costs that aren't covered under the SAFER grant. So the SAFER grant covers benefits, their salary, and their paramedic stipend, and their 1-2 certificate. But any other benefits such as training days, we cover a number of sick days, they're included in vacation time, which would start in their second year of employment. So that's what kicks in that additional money of $96,000 that we're asking for to add to the operating budget. And then you'll see in year 3, it goes up to just over $370,000. So essentially the town gets just under $1 million where we need the those 4 firefighters will bring up our shift strength to 4. And the reason for this whole grant is about firefighter safety and efficiency. But keep in mind, too, they can also cross-staff, that not just to the fire truck, they can also go onto the ambulance, too. Do you have any questions while we're on that salary page at all?
If I may, Mr. Moderator?
Yes, Mr. Sullivan.
So Chief, if I understand the figures, for the first 3 years, we get just under $1 million in grant funds. But for the next 3 years, beyond the term of the grant, the town is going to be absorbing $1 million worth of salary, correct? Or more?
No, that salary, it'll be about $450,000 in year 4 that the town would have to have.
But I'm saying for the next, I mean, you're looking at 3 years worth of grant funds totaling just under $1 million.
Yep.
What I'm suggesting is 3 years after the grant expires, so those next 3 years, the town absorbs at least $1 million worth in additional payroll costs for the fire department, correct?
Yeah, it could be, starting in year 4, it would be 450, so yeah, 3 years, it would be just over $1 million. That would be correct.
It may be closer to $1.5 million.
It could be, depending on negotiations, yes, that would be correct.
So I understood Mr. Pombriant's response to the $96,000 as being a one-year cost. Am I correct in saying you said something slightly different about the additional costs for the firefighters? That the $96,000 that was added for the firefighters that was not covered by the grant was a one-year cost?
It would be in the operating budget for next year, if it's voted on tonight.
And then the following year is?
Then I believe the town's intentions are to set funds aside to prepare for year 4.
So I'm only getting one. All right. So, I think this is germane to, I think, Article 23 or 24, and frankly, I'm not sure how deep the discussion should go now on this particular article as opposed to the stabilization fund transfer. And I'm at a loss to understand where that discussion should take place. Somebody help me.
I think it would be prudent to discuss it under Article 24.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions of the fire chief?
Can we go to the next slide? Please.
I have a comment.
Let me.
James Stephen, Groton School Road. Thank you, Chief, for calling me and explaining the funds and how the system works. My only issue is I'm not against the fire department. I'm not against the town of Ayer. I love this town and I love the fire department. The only issue that appears that our expenses is so much more than Groton and Harvard. Groton is a larger town, have more money. Harvard is a larger town. And I know we have the hospital in this town, but it just appears that our expenses so much more than those two towns. That's the thing that's kind of hard for me to get a handle on. And I'm not against the fire department, I'm not against the town. I think we have a great fire department and a great town, but do we think about what expenses are we adding to the town? We have a school department that's losing students. We need to be thinking about that. That costs money. So I just wonder, do we think about what we adding when we add these expenses?
Yeah, that's a great question. As I said to start off, I can only speak for the fire department, but over the last 20 years, we've just over doubled our calls, and we try to react to that with doing what's best for the fire department in response.
Yes, sir. Mr. Moderator?
So just briefly, and again, I think that in Article 20, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm Carolyn McCreary, 6 Wachusett Avenue East. And I'm concerned because our fire department already has 15 full-time firefighters, whereas Groton, which is much bigger, six times the area, and maybe close to 50% more in population, has only 8 full-time firefighters. And, obviously, it's a wealthier community than we are. And I want to know, You know, you say that we require all of this overtime, and I want to know what of it goes to mutual aid to other communities where we are supporting their needs.
To that, I can tell you that, I mean, Groton chooses the way they divide up their taxpayers' dollars. I can speak for Ayers. We do provide mutual aid. Since 2004, we have run an advanced life support service here in Ayer. We do provide mutual aid to communities that border us. We are somewhat unique in that we do have 5 municipalities that border us, and when called upon, we do provide that service. Over the years, when we first started in '04, the only community I was aware of that had paramedics was Townsend, and that has evolved to the communities of Littleton that does now. There's another municipality that's trying in Lunenburg, and Pepperell and Westford also have paramedics. But that is part of our mutual aid agreements. We do provide a service, but when we do provide that service, we do have, you know, we do get paid for that service also.
I'm sorry, Mr. Moderator, through
Yes.
you to the chief. And, you know, obviously I've been in touch with Deputy Chief Janiskevich, and so I kind of looked at the numbers, and I think Carolyn's point is well taken. And the inequities in the provision and the reception of mutual aid, I think, is again something. But I think this for me, what this highlights is that in the absence of the federal grant, which provided you know, substantial payment for 4 full-time firefighters, would this request have occurred? That is, a new deputy chief was hired, I guess last year or 18 months ago. With 4 new firefighters, that will be 5 new additional positions, which, you know, the math tells you that's a 33% increase in staffing over the course of 18 months. And 33% increase in staffing in the absence of a 33%. As I saw the numbers over the last, and I didn't look back to 2004, but since, let's say, 2018, 2019, the number of calls has been substantially similar, all of those years. The mutual aid calls, and again, this is something that we can discuss in Article 23, have a disparity which is almost inconceivable to me. So I think that we as a town have to take a long, hard look at why do we need so much of this service when, as Ms. McCreary pointed out, Groton has 8 full-time firefighters. Shirley, I believe, has 6 full-time firefighters. Harvard, I believe, has 2 full-time firefighters. And we are providing that level of mutual aid to those communities.
Mr. Moderator?
Yes, Mr. Hood.
So if I may just interject. So Mr. Carter and I had a conversation about 2 weeks ago about this very subject on mutual aid. My follow-up conversation with the town managers, we are going to do a deeper dive into the mutual aid agreements and the economics around that over the summer and get a handle on how the agreements are set up and why is it that Ayer is providing a higher level of service to the people outside of our community.
And Mr. Governor, if I might almost add, we've had full-time staff here since the early 1900s, way before any other towns around us did the same thing. And what you'll see is that it's just evolved where call departments were the backbone of many of the local fire departments here. The time to become a call firefighter and the training that you got to do is just isn't viable for residents to do that anymore. And in order to handle the volume of calls, we just have to evolve from maybe an on-call paid staff to more of a full-time staff, because calls never seem to go backwards, they always seem to go up.
Yes, sir. Please come forward.
Yeah, Steve Wenzel, 60 Willard Street. So I just want to say that I'm starting to get a little older. And I realized one of the things I'm concerned with is that I want to make sure the EMTs get to my house as quick as they can. I don't want a bunch of tired people showing up. I don't, and I know that's, I trust what the chief is saying. I don't know, but if he's made an evaluation, we're paying him a lot of money to know what he's talking about. So he made a good point. If it's been since 1998, we haven't added anybody. And let's face it, we're getting older. We do need people to show up, and they're going to be showing up a lot more. So I would encourage the body to please support this.
Thank you, sir.
I just wanted to briefly respond to the chief's point about the lack of on-call or the unavailability of on-call. You know, over the last week since the warrant came out, I happened to go through some of the annual time reports over the last 4 or 5 years. And I was struck by the fact that in the Groton Town report for 2020, they specifically noted that they had the largest in-service training in town for on-call firefighters in their history. And they kind of advertised the fact that they have a robust on-call system which allows them to use 8 full-time firefighters, and they seem to be able to meet the needs of their town appropriately. And so what I would say is that the lack of on-call firefighters may be due to 2 other factors. One is that if you become an on-call firefighter, we hire you full-time, so now you're no longer available for on-call. But also that perhaps the marketing or the advertising for trying to generate greater on-call activity for Ayer needs to be improved.
And if I could just add to that too, as we said, when you have that type of on-call department, when you rely on the call department, well, minutes count. If you have a fire doubles in size every minute we're not there. So as you see in the last slide, what you're getting here is we strive to have our engine arrive on scene within the first 4 minutes, and I think that's what the town has, you know, we've always been supported by the town residents, and I think that's what the town wants.
Thank you.
Mr. Moderator.
Yes, Mrs. Connolly.
Good evening. Pauline Conley, Cambridge Street. I want to supplement what Steve just said, Steve Wenzel said. I listen to the fire department all day long, as they well know. And
Could you speak a little more into the microphone?
oh, sorry, I try not to yell into it because I'm trying to breathe at the same time. But when you had 3 people on staff, you need 2 in an ambulance, correct?
Correct.
1 drives the engine.
Correct.
You're left in the station with the deputy chief, and you and he also commonly respond when there were 3 firefighters.
Yes, we do when needed.
I have seen the department have to leave a vehicle because there was only 1 driver in the ambulance, and of course you need somebody with the patient. I've seen the vehicles left at various parking lots, and then the firefighters will return. Steve is right, we're all getting older. I'm right up there, you won't believe it. And I too want someone to respond to me if that should happen. The fact that we have mutual aid calls, we also, and I think people have lost sight of this, 5 assisted living facilities in town, 2 senior housing, Apple Valley, Neshoba Park, and there's a 3rd, I can never remember the 3rd. But every time there's an incident there, our fire department and ambulance have to respond. When somebody needs to go from Apple Valley across the parking lot to the hospital, our ambulance responds. If another call comes in and there's only 3 firefighters on staff, who answers the other call? And it's a rhetorical question, but I would like to hear your response.
It would be the call department members or full-time staff that is called back.
And most of our call firefighters have full-time jobs.
Yes.
So they can't just pack up their full-time job and respond to a call unless they're not working.
Correct.
We've not had an update in staff in over 10 years. Am I correct on that? 2008, so 15 years almost.
Yes, as Mr. Curran pointed out, to the shift strength staffing, which is the 3 firefighters on duty since '98. In '04, we added 3, but that was just to reduce the work hour week.
And comparing Ayer to Groton, does Groton have a full-time overnight staff?
I'm sorry?
Does Groton have a full-time overnight staff?
Yes, 2 on the overnight.
2.
Yep.
Harvard?
None.
I don't think so. They don't even have a full-time day staff.
They don't.
Right.
And Littleton has 4.
So we have the majority of the firefighters in the entire contiguous area.
Yes.
And you do a fabulous job. You save lives every day. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Is there one more question,
Please.
Mr. Sullivan, regarding fire department?
Chief, the last slide that you have up, the NFPA standard 1710 is what the department says strives to follow. Am I correct that that standard is for full-time fire departments?
That would be correct. That would be the standard we would go by with those 4 firefighters working, yes.
But there's another standard, I believe, 1720, that's
Correct.
for combination departments such as ours?
Combination or volunteer, yes.
Yeah. And do we meet the requirements for standard 1720?
The grant was based on 1710 and 1720. We may meet some of those requirements, but we based it off 1710 to get reduce the times in the 60 and 80 seconds, because those grow as you become, I think it's combination or a volunteer department.
But aside from the grant, do we currently meet the standards for the requirements for standard 1720, which is for a combination department?
Not for the 4-person engine company. Right now, we only have 3.
So that would be one personnel short.
Correct. I stand corrected. We do now because those firefighters are in place. So right now we do. We do have 4.
Okay. Thank you.
So, am I to...
Mr. Kern,
I'm
would you
sorry.
like to be recognized?
Okay. I'm sorry?
No, I just wanted to ask a question of the meeting. We've been discussing the fire department more than any other budget, and I know it's very important. So maybe we could kind of... Well, I can't move to vote if we have a speaker. Mr. Kern, please be quick.
So a couple of things on the standard. And in my conversations, it seems that for air, the standard would be 1720, although you strive to meet the standard for 1710. That was my understanding. And are we to take from this that the other surrounding communities are somehow have high rates of late responses where their people are dying more frequently because they don't have appropriate ambulance service? That is, if air with 13 or 14 full-time firefighters is not meeting the minimum standard, we can only assume that Groton with 8 and Shirley with 6 and Harvard with 2 are well below that standard.
I could only speak for air. We definitely strive to meet their standard, and I would say a lot of lives are saved by that standard. I can't speak for the other towns.
Okay. Did someone come up to the mic and move the question?
Mr. Moderator?
Yes, sir.
Brendan Hurley, Home Street, move the question.
Okay. We have now a motion to terminate debate. All in favor of moving the question and terminating debate, please say aye. Aye. All against? It's a unanimous vote. So we shall continue with the next budget in Public Safety Building Department, $147,292. Emergency Management, $23,240. Animal Control Officer, $16,660. Animal Barn Inspector, $2,652. Tree Warden, $69,424. Hold, please come forward, those that wish to speak about the Tree Warden.
Bonnie Tillotson, 15 Oak Ridge Drive. Just a question on the dramatic increase of 55.62% for the year 2020 23. Just a quick question, I don't want to belabor, but it says increase additional $22,600 for tree maintenance plan. So what trees are being maintained? Is it cutting? Is it putting in new trees for the town?
Okay, I'll recognize the manager to just talk about trees.
Mr. Moderator, through you to Ms. Tillotson's question. In the tree warden budget, the town received a grant to do a town-wide tree management study, which was done by the previous DPW director, Mr. Wetzel. That detailed plan, which is on the town's website, was presented to the select board at their January 18th meeting. In that, it's a comprehensive 10-year plan that has an estimated total cost over the 10-year period of $1.4 million. It involves, in the interest of time, maintenance of various public trees, and they're rated from dangerous to moderate to low risk. Also addresses the replanting plan and so forth. In the annual range, it's about $66,000 a year if we were to do the 10-year plan. What's put in the budget, that increase of the $24,812 is added to the existing tree warden budget to fulfill year one of that plan. And I do encourage, if folks haven't seen the full report, the committee and the director had some residents involved on that plan. It's quite comprehensive. Yep.
Any further questions about the tree warden? Any further questions about Department 300? So let's take an affirmative vote or a negative vote on Department 300. The amount of $5,751,403. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? No. It's an affirmative vote. Department 400, Public Works. Public Works, $1,364,165. Does anybody wish to speak about Public Works?
Mr. Moderator,
Yes, sir.
Staff.
Could you come to the mic, please?
Could we just have the DPW superintendent explain the need for the additional staff person?
Mr. Van Schalwick?
Mr. Moderator, Cindy, got it, there we go. Yeah, so the position that I've requested in the budget is a civil engineer 1 position. It's a junior level engineer. So over the past 5 years, we've hired interns to do our engineering and GIS work, and we've constantly been updating them and retraining them and getting them on board with us, and it takes a lot of time. And they have been extremely helpful. They do in-house engineering. The civil engineer position would do in-house engineering and project management, so that reduces our reliance on consultants, and that saves money. And they also assist and provide expertise, not just to DPW, but also to other departments as needed. There's been an increased need just through all the work we've had, the capital improvements and maintenance due to our aging infrastructure. We have really a lot going on, and it's great to have that position, the low-level position, to be able to help out with, the so-called grunt work, the behind the scenes, the AutoCAD, the GIS, the Excel spreadsheets, things along those lines. So the job would do GIS mapping and updates, which is critical to us in maintaining our systems. AutoCAD drafting, water system modeling, and bid preparation. Those are some of the main tasks. Stormwater permit inspections, which we don't do a lot of. We should be doing more of private systems. And it would also reduce the stormwater wages line item to 0, which we've always had $8,000 for wages just to have help from interns in. So just one example, we recently bid the Birch and McDowell Water and Drain Project, which is getting started at the end of April. And our current intern, who's a great candidate for the position, performed the survey, did the engineering design, the bidding, and the shop drawing review in-house under my direction and Mark Wetzel's as well. And the estimated cost to have a consultant do all that was about $35,000. So that's, yeah, that's all I got. If we have any questions.
Yes, sir.
David Kane, 28 West Street.
Could you speak into the mic?
I'm
I
sorry.
can't hear you.
David Kane, 28 West Street. Has this person that you're considering for this position heard this salary, and are they okay with it? I'm an engineer, and myself, I would be a little bit surprised if you were able to find an engineer who will accept that salary.
Yeah, that's a little further down the road, but when we developed the salary, we looked at other towns too, and it's right in the middle of some other towns that have this entry-level engineering position. So I know when I started, I was in a consulting firm, and you get paid a little higher than at a town, but so I think that's part of the reason it would appear lower. But it is comparable to other towns for that type of position.
Thank you.
Any further questions about the budget for the DPW? Okay, I guess you're off the hook, Mark. Ms. Dan. Emergency management, 23,000, wait a minute, no, sorry. Snow and ice removal, $321,000. Public works, street lighting, $42,000. Somebody want to talk about street lighting, please come forward.
Laurie Sable, 1 Winthrop Ave. I just wanted to ask a question. Are these the kinds of streetlights that encourage the whole dark sky concept, that don't point up to the above us, but shine down? And I know there's other kinds of technology that is being used for these kinds of that are to encourage to discourage light pollution at night. I don't know much about this, but I know that this concept exists, and I hope that we are part of it.
Mr. Van Schelwick, you want to come forward? You thought you were off the hook.
I know I shouldn't have gone far. Yeah, so this is basically for our streetlight maintenance budget. So every year, we put money toward maintaining the lights. I know we've had some out this past year. I was out at 4 a.m. driving around during one of the snowstorms, checking on the guys and checking on the lights once to see what ones were out and needed to be dealt with. So it's really just for the general maintenance of our existing LED lights, and also we have decorative lights on Main Street. So this goes toward the street lights. I can't really speak to the technical aspect of the lights right now, as if it's the emitting to the sky type, but that's essentially it.
Okay, thank you. Cost of care of graves, $1,200. Anyone you want to talk about grave care? Woodlawn Cemetery, $41,000. Okay, that concludes Department 400 with a budget of $1,769,365. Can I have a vote in favor or against for that budget? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, moving on to our human service budget. Council on Aging, $216,611. Does anyone want to talk about our seniors in Council on Aging? Board of Health, $7,300. Neshoba Association Board of Health, $38,579. And somebody did put a hold on this budget, so I hope that somebody has something to ask. Social worker, $67,500. Okay, please come forward.
Ruth Maxon Schultz, Taft Street.
Yes.
I believe there's a better way to do this rather than hiring a social worker, that we'd have to include all their insurance and everything else. That what I would rather see is that the town make a contract with a company from Fitchburg. They have several social worker companies over there, and ask them to come in and do a review of what might be needed in our town. just one social worker. It's a big job, and there's so many different things in our town going on that I think that applying to, they'll have a group of people there that can discuss things, working with the veterans, working with the homeless, working with the wonderful food pantry that Cindy's got going on. All those things that can be done, and they can talk about us, and then they can tell us what we need. And if we hire a social worker, I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay, let me ask Dr. Petrossi to come forward. Could you address the question?
Actually, Mr. Moderator.
Yes, sir.
Through you, could I respond as I, working with Dr. Petrossi, put this together?
Okay.
Yeah. Through you to Ms. Schultz's comment. First, the request for a full-time professional social worker and the need for it has come from the police chief, the director of the Council on Aging, the Community Development and Economic Office, your professional folks that have been asking for this. That's why we've put this proposal together. Also, unfortunately, you get what you pay for. Going out to subcontract this for all of the needs would cost more than this. We've looked at that. So again, just through the moderator, the proposal in other departments through you, if they want to speak to it, has been thought out and put together. The need is for a full-time social worker to augment the functions of the police department, the Community Development Office, the Council on Aging, to work with folks like Ms. Lavin and other outreaches, the point person.
Well, I had one other. You talked earlier about being a difference between a town administrator and a town manager. The town manager would hire this social worker. And I have two comments about it. In the past, I haven't seen you as a town manager being very kind to people that are trying to...
Point of order.
That's well taken. That's well taken. Ms. Maxon, please do not speak in personalities about the members of our staff. It's really important to manage the most decorum possible. So if you have a question about the manager's performance, you can bring it directly to him or address to me what you'd like to ask.
Well, may I make a comment about what happened at a Board of Selectmen meeting when he... No?
Point of order.
Okay. All right. But that was... Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Maxon. Ms. Lavin, you stood up. Did you want to speak?
Hi, Cindy Lavin, High Street. Mr. Pontbriand said pretty much what I wanted to say, which is I get calls from the Economic Development Office, from the police, from people all over town, you know, asking Stone Soup Kitchen to do things that really a social worker should be doing. I'm not a social worker. I'm also not paid. Stone Soup Kitchen is there to fill in gaps and to do what we can, but we need a social worker in this town, period.
Thank you. Ms. Nearing?
Lori Nearing, Highland Avenue. I'm not denying that we need a social worker. All these things sound like important, necessary things. I'm just very confused about the logistics and where this person's office will be, who they will report to, how will this person know to go to the police to help the police or to the Stone Soup Kitchen, or, you know, how is it going to really function is my concern. If obviously needed, how do we make it work better?
Mr. Manager, who's going to manage the social worker?
Mr. Moderator, through you to Ms. Nearing's question. Assuming town meeting authorizes the funding, upon the authorization of the funding, a hiring process will occur. It was alluded to earlier that I would just pick this person. That's not correct. We would advertise. There's a specific job description. There would be a screening committee that would probably consist of the chief of police, perhaps Ms. Lavin if she's available, some folks from community development, and so forth. I will bring that appointment of the most qualified person to the select board for them to ratify. It would be a position that would be working very closely with all of our departments. We do have to work out some of the logistics, as you have mentioned. One model is that the individual could be based for a certain period of time, say at the Council on Aging, then over at police, then community development. There is some of those logistical details still to be worked out, but to have a professional licensed full-time social worker as part of the town team is really the first step, and I think will move us forward in addressing a lot of these issues.
Thank you. Chief Gill.
Mr. Moderator, as the police chief, everybody should know that the police department right now is your first line of social workers. And we're getting called, to handle everything and anything that somebody picks up the phone and they want the police department there. The problem is where do we go once we're there and we have the issue in front of us? So as a police department, we're very limited in our resources. So we've started some ad hoc things around, and some things that are more developed, like the COIN program, but it's a 1 day a week person that we shared with 10 towns. What we're looking to do here is something that's vital to the town. The resources that something like this can bring, a position like this can bring to the town is immeasurable. And I think that it's something that the town really should vote in favor of, because you don't want the one, we're the first step in that chain. We've got nobody to send them to. So don't let it end with the police department. Let us have a resource that we can send somebody to. Thank you. I hope you'll vote in favor of this.
Yes, sir.
Brett Higgins, East Main Street. My concern is the liability on the town for a clinical position. They give advice, it gets misinformed, something happens. Where does the liability fall?
Mr. Moderator?
Yes, Mr. Manager.
Through you to the gentleman's question. It's not, I want to emphasize, it's not going to be a clinical position in the sense that it's going to be one-on-one with private residents. Mostly we'll be dealing with specific issues, but in terms of the liability, it would be covered under the town's overall insurance umbrella.
And wouldn't this position be well suited to have an advisor instead of somebody that could point you in the right direction? Everybody knows you can Google that, and within 10 minutes, you'll have 100 different resources in this area. You have the hospital, you have a lot of services. I'm saying to have it so somebody could point you in the right direction, as opposed to somebody telling you what needs to be done at $67,000 a year.
I'm going to ask that this be kept to the point of the position and their responsibilities. So we need to narrow the focus and not whether they can do their job and whether it's easy for them to do that.
It just seems as if it's a bit excess and a heavy liability on the town.
Well, thank you for your opinion. Mr. Curran.
Mr. Moderator, I would ask your indulgence in recognizing Dr. Katie Petrossi, who's the head of the Senior Center and Council on Aging. She is not, in fact, a resident of the town, but I would ask that she be permitted to share a few thoughts on why this is needed. I sit on the board of the Senior Center Council on Aging, and it's clear to me that its dual function working with the board and the police department would be invaluable in helping some very needy cases.
I would love to hear from Ms. Petrossi. Would the meeting object to Ms. Petrossi as the department head for the Council on Aging to speak before us? No. Okay, Ms. Petrossi, please come forward.
I'd just like to mirror what the police chief said, is that there are a lot of needs in our community, and the staff at the COA currently can't handle all of them. There are agencies, like those mentioned in Fitchburg, that provide large social service capabilities, but they are currently well beyond their capacity, and as a professional group, we have met several times about that. And there are seniors in town who are at very critical points of need that cannot be provided for by our public agencies. And a social worker located here in the town would be a pivotal point to assure that person's safety and well-being while they are on the waiting list for these larger social service agencies that can provide longer-term solutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Petrossi. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll continue on to the next human service budget, which is Parks Department, $194,203. Does anybody want to talk about our parks? Okay. Ayer Shirley Youth Football and Cheerleaders, $4,000. Little League, $4,000. Veterans Agent, $20,991. Veterans Benefits, $125,000. Library, $657,380. Disabilities Commission, $3,000. Seeing none, may I take a vote on Department 5 for $1,338,564. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, Department 6, Management Support. Conservation Commission, $76,570. Economic and Community Development, $81,879. Town Planner, $97,420. Historical Commission, excuse me? Somebody say hold? What? Oh, a cough, okay. I'm listening, just in case. Historical Commission, $750. Montechusett Regional Planning Commission, $2,889. Management Support, $140,820. Information Technology, $187,902. That concludes the Department 600 budget for $588,230. All in favor of that budget, please say aye.
Aye.
All against? That's a unanimous vote. And now we shall conclude Article 6. The motion before us is to move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $16,962,924 to fund the fiscal 2023 omnibus budget. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? One negative vote. Okay, it is now 9:10. Anybody need to use the restroom? We'll take a 5-minute recess. If you need to go, please feel free, but come back because we've got a lot to discuss. Let's get back in our seats, please, so we can continue with the remaining articles. Regarding Article 6, I didn't say there was all favorable votes except for one, and that vote I so declare it, which Ms. Copeland asked me if I could do that, so we kept our pattern. We have Article 7 before us now, which is the Ayer Shirley Regional School District. Do we have a motion from the Select Board?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $12,244,196 to fund the town's fiscal year 2023 assessment for the Ayer Shirley Regional School District, and to raise and appropriate the sum of $889,150 to fund the town's portion of the Ayer Shirley Regional School District High School Building Project as contained in Article 7 and printed in the warrant.
Do we have anybody from the school district that would like to discuss the article? Or do we have a second? We have a second. Is there anyone, Dr. Benda or any of the staff from the school department? Seeing none. Mr. Moderator, do you have anything else to add on that? Is there any discussion of the school budget? We have a motion for $12,244,196 to fund the budget and to raise and appropriate the sum of $889,150 to support the town's portion of the high school building project. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we have one no, and that's the vote, and I so declare it. Now we move on to Article 8, which is the funding for the fiscal 2023 Neshoba Valley Technical Vocational High School Assessment. Mr. Hood?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $1,010,957 to fund the FY 2023 assessment for the Neshoba Valley Regional Technical High School as contained in Article 6.
I'd like to recognize Dr. Pigeon, who I believe is here from the Neshoba Valley High School. Please come forward. Do we have any objections? She does not live in the town of Ayer, but she's the superintendent of the Neshoba Valley School. No objections, please go forward.
Good evening. I would like to just take a minute of your time to recognize an amazing student from Neshoba Tech that is here with us tonight and has been participating in town meeting. Her name is Sabrina Lewis, and Sabrina Lewis was selected from students across our Neshoba Tech population to serve as our student representative to the school committee this year. She's been attending our school committee meetings and been a very active member of our school community. She's an amazing leader at school. She is a dental assisting student. She is participating in our cooperative education program and working at New England Oral Surgery. She also, on her academic week, the classes that she's taking at Neshoba are dual enrollment classes. She's earning college credit. She's active in our Viking theater group. She is starring in the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee play that's coming up soon. She was also selected as one of 2 students at Neshoba Tech to be nominated to the Commissioner of Education for a CTE Presidential Scholars Award. Amazing young lady from the town of Ayer, and I just had to take a moment to have her recognized here today. And I am here if you'd like me to answer any questions on the Neshoba Tech budget. I do have a presentation, but in the interest of brevity, I can answer questions if that's what the group prefers.
Could you just use that summary slide of expenditures so that people could see that?
Certainly. I think it's the second to last slide. Keep going. Yep. One more. So this is the real high-level view of what's happening to the assessment for the town of Ayer to Neshoba Tech. Overall, there has been an increase of students from Ayer attending Neshoba Tech. We are up 2 students. And if you look at last year's assessment as compared to this year's assessment, the majority of the increase is actually in the town's minimum required contribution category, which is based on the state funding formula. And then there is an increase in the transportation and capital equipment line, and that is because our overall budget, we do have an increase in a capital request to replace some structural damage on one of our major entryways at the school. And the overall increase is $56,802. Again, for Ayer, it's primarily due to the increase through the minimum required contribution formula, which is the state formula, and that slight increase in the capital assessment.
Am I correct that there was an adjustment to the state formula which affected our rate?
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you. Any further discussion or questions of Dr. Pigeon regarding Neshoba Tech?
I have a statement, James Stephen. I noticed you presented our best student. As a result, you will have no questions.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Curran.
Just briefly, I would like to commend Dr. Pigeon for having come and been succinct, but having kind of explained the budget and presented to that wonderful student. Going forward, I would encourage the moderator or the select board to strongly encourage a representative or the superintendent of the Ayer Regional School System to be here at town meeting to explain, however briefly, the budget and you know, any questions that might arise.
I did call,
I'm sorry. No, I think the moderator did ask.
I did ask, but there were no questions, so I guess. Silence is golden, I guess, and it helps move the meeting along. Okay, we have a motion before us for Article 8 to raise and appropriate the sum of $1,010,957 to fund the FY 2023 assessment for Neshoba Valley Tech Regional High School, as contained in the articles. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's a unanimous vote, and I so declare it. On to solid waste. Now, the enterprise funds, in the interest of saving time, I would like to propose that we try something new, a consent agenda, regarding Articles 9 through 12.
Mr. Moderator.
Yes, sir.
I move that the town vote to authorize by a consent agenda the approval of Articles 9 through 12 as printed in the warrant by consent.
Okay, these articles are Article 9, solid waste. Direct costs, $445,264, of which $336,180 is to come from solid waste revenue, $37,360 is to come from solid waste retained earnings, and $71,724 is to come from the tax levy, and indirect costs of $125,276 is to come from the tax levy or take any action thereto. Okay, Article 10 pertains to the ambulance fund. Directs costs of $175,000 to come from ambulance revenue, indirect costs of $367,523, of which $262,420 is to come from ambulance revenue, $42,000 is to come from ambulance retained earnings, and $63,103 is to come from the tax levy. If you'd turn to the next page, this is regarding Article 11, which is for the sewer fund. So if we got water, we got to have sewer. To see if the town will vote direct costs of $3,016,889 to come from sewer revenue, and indirect costs of $431,717 to come from sewer revenue, or take any action thereto. Finally, water, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate and transfer from available funds direct costs of $2,116,081 to come from water revenue, and indirect costs of $311,705 to come from water revenue. Does anyone have any discussion of the four enterprise funds?
Mr. Moderator, point of order. So I guess I don't understand the consent. Are we now going to vote on all four of them with one vote, or?
Yes, we'll vote on them. If the meeting is supportive of that action, we'll vote on all four at the same time, and we'll discuss all four at the same time. These are all funds that are used by the town through indirect and direct costs and generate mostly their own revenues with a little support from the town tax levy.
But the discussion for each of the articles will precede the votes on those articles.
Yes. So it's all four articles together. Does anyone wish to speak on anything regarding Articles 9 through 12?
Mr. Moderator, Alan
Yes, sir.
Peterson, former Mulberry Circle. I'd like to move the question forward.
Okay, we have a motion to terminate debate. All in favor of terminating debate on Articles 9 through 12? Please say aye. All opposed?
Mr. Moderator.
Chair doubts the vote. All in favor, please rise of terminating debate. Can you help Susan and Mark? Can we have a couple of tellers? Ms. Olson, could you count here with the gentleman in the green? And please raise your pink cards. In the second aisle, Mr. Goodwin, could you count this aisle along with, let's see, trying to see in the dark here. Sir in the blue shirt, would you also count this aisle? And then in the last aisle, Mr. Tillotson and Mr. Prell. Could you please count the third aisle? So this is all in favor of terminating debate on Articles 9 through 12. And we have 3 up here. The motion was made and seconded, and the first person that got up asked for a motion to terminate debate. I have to respond to that. That's parliamentary procedure, is it not?
Point of order, Mr. Moderator.
Yes.
It was specifically suggested prior to this meeting that as long as you were in line waiting to speak, a termination of the debate would not occur. I was standing right here when the gentleman made that motion.
The first person that came to the microphone made the motion, so I have to honor that. Town council says so. Mr. Could you please stand up and recertify that?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Moderator. The order of motions is based upon who makes a motion. Notwithstanding there being someone waiting to speak, a motion to end debate is appropriate and may be entertained by the moderator. Moderator entertained a motion that was made, so that's the motion that's before you. If you don't agree with that motion, you can vote it down.
When you say may be entertained, must it be entertained?
The moderator makes the call. The moderator made the call.
So he had the discretion not to do it?
The moderator made the call.
He had the discretion not to do it.
The moderator made the call.
If there's enough people that wish to not terminate debate, vote against it.
Can I make another point of order?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this being affected by the time of evening?
What?
I'm wondering if there are so many people that are standing because this is getting to be
Mr. Moderator,
late.
that's not a point of order. That's not a point of order.
Do you have the counts for this aisle? 22? Are you in agreement? Oh, could you count this aisle too? I need 2 people from each aisle. Sir? 14? 14. 14 middle, 3 stage. Mr. Tillotson? 30. 30 for the right side. We in agreement? What is that again? 23. All against? Termination of debate? Zero on the right side. $17. 17 in the center, 0 on the stage. They had 30 over there. Mr. Tillotson, you had none? 0. And this side?
They were included in his number of 7.
Okay. So, Madam Clerk, could you read the vote?
It was 70 in favor and 17 against.
Well, I'm sorry to say that we have terminated debate. I think we'll move on to the vote. All in favor of a vote in favor of the 4 articles, the enterprise funds as presented in the warrant, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. I believe there was 2 nays. The remainder was in favor, and I so declare it. The next article pertains to capital budget requests.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to authorize the borrowing of the total sum of $998,238 for the purposes of funding the equipment, services, and projects as contained in Article 13 and printed in the warrant.
Does any, Mr. Manager, do you want to discuss this article?
Mr. Moderator, through you, whatever the pleasure of town meeting is, there's various items. I know that the departments are prepared to answer any questions or have very brief presentations on them. Perhaps if you went down each item and asked for a hold if somebody has a question, if they don't have a question on something.
Ms. Knox, could you bring up the 6 so we can see them all together? So facilities, $65,000. Anybody want to talk about facilities?
Actually, excuse me, yeah.
What? Oh.
It's split page.
Right, so that's what I meant. You can't, oh, I see. The DPW highway road paving, $85,000. Barnum Road Bridge repairs, $70,000. 1-ton pickup truck with plow, $60,000. No holds yet. $65,000 for facilities, voice over internet protocol, phone upgrades, and wiring for buildings. Fire department vehicle, $65,000. Okay, we have a hold on fire. Parks, Peroni Park Playground Project, $320,000. A hold on parks. Police, redesigned patrol workspace, $63,238. Sewer Enterprise Fund, portable generator, 50% of cost, split with water, $75,000. Water Enterprise, new well source approval, $120,000. Portable generator, $75,000, split with sewer. Okay, the total cost of all these as presently presented is $998,238. I believe the first one that we started with is fire, $65,000. Who wants to talk about fire? Yes, Fire Chief.
I could give you a brief explanation for that. So that fire vehicle is for the deputy chief. That position did not have a vehicle when that came in a couple years ago. Chief Gill was nice enough to give a used police cruiser for him to drive in the meantime. So this would be for the deputy chief's vehicle for the fire department. Certainly supply issues. My vehicle is up next year, which is 9 years old. If we were unable to get a pickup truck as he would like, we could replace mine first and maybe do his next. But the intention is for the deputy chief's car. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay, next up is Peroni Park Playground Project. Mr. Thomas, do you want to come forward? Discuss your project first.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Hello, everyone. We had a presentation, Commissioner Mayo and myself, but in the interest of time, we thought we'd just answer any questions to start with.
Why don't you give your presentation?
Okay. So, Cindy, could you put up the second slide, please? While Cindy's getting that up, just a quick overview of the project itself. As all of you know, Peroni Park houses what we consider one of the gems of the community, not just in there, but of the entire area, and that's Kitty Junction Playground. And that's been in place since 1989. It was a beautiful project when it first came about, but as time has gone on, it has got some wear and tear, but more importantly, it was subject to a study that was being done by the EPA in 2006 when they were doing some soil samples. And at that time, they detected that there was some arsenic in the soil surrounding the area. And at that point, you can see Peroni Park and Grove Pond behind it. In Grove Pond, they found that there was traces of arsenic along the shore, and then further studies found that there was elements of arsenic throughout the playground. And further studies also determined that that was due to pressure-treated wood that was built with the wood of the structure at the time that it was built. So, unfortunately, that led the Parks Commission to decide that something had to be done, but at the same time, the EPA made it clear that there wasn't a need to do anything immediately due to it just being elevated levels of arsenic. And so proper signage was put out, and we had public forums to discuss it with the public. Since that time, we have been working on trying to find grants and other means of funding to replace and remediate the site. Our first estimates that we got in 2006 would be just the remediation part would be anywhere between $150,000 and $300,000 due to the professional elements that were needed for disposal. And that's mostly the soil, which is very difficult to remove, and maintain the trees at the same time, which is one of the great benefits of that playground for everyone who knows the facility. So fast forward to about 2 or 3 years ago, it was determined at that point that the playground itself was very difficult to maintain. Part of the reason that there was arsenic in the soil was from sanding the structure a number of years back, and you can no longer do that. So the wood has been splintering and is in definite need of repair and replacement. So we did hire a company, a consultant company. They were able to come up with some estimates and ideas for what we needed to remediate the site and then replace the entire playground. So the first slide you see here is just a conceptual layout of something that Beta came up with us. And we've had a couple of public forums to discuss this and get ideas from the public of things that they might like to see on there. And while this is not what is definitely going to happen, this is just one of many potential conceptual phases that we're working on right now. Cindy, could you do the next slide, please? So this is basically what we're looking for from town meeting tonight. We're trying to get funding for both the remediation, which based on Beta's estimates is about $160,000, and that's a moving target, but we're hoping to keep it around that. And then to get the equipment and everything that we're going to be needing to get at least the phase 1, which is a good section of what we'd like to get back in there as a replacement, that would be the remainder of the funds. Looking forward, we're hoping to get additional funding through various sources. Alan and Alicia have been working with us, trying to get different grants to help us to afford more elements to the play area as we continue on. One more thing I'd just like to mention, we did have a survey out and been trying to get different comments and ideas from the public. One of the most common ones is that they'd love to just see that same playground replaced as is. And unfortunately, there's a number of factors, ADA factors, safety factors, just building standards in general that just don't allow that to happen. So unfortunately, what we're going to have to replace it with is going to be different, but the good news is we hope it will be even better, and that's our goal. And Cindy, could you do the next slide, please? And this is our projected timeline. Again, this is a moving target, but we're really hoping to get things going this summer and fall, and then with all of our fingers crossed, get a grand opening in the spring of 2023. It's a very aggressive timeline, but I think we all agree that this playground is something that is cherished throughout the community, and we want it to get back opened up as soon as we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Ms. Nearing.
Great presentation. That's mostly what I wanted to ask you. Thank you. And I'm definitely in favor of this. My only question is, as you go forward and make decisions on what the playground is going to be made out of, PFAS is being found in so many products now. This will be something you'll be watching for?
That's actually new information to me. I'm going to bring it up with Beta when I talk to them tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, moving on.
Oh, got one. Hold on.
Oh, there is another question. Sorry.
Mr. Moderator, Kevin Bresnahan, 4 Wachusett East. Just in favor of this. I don't think there's going to be much debate, but something similar, or if you can do it even better, would be so phenomenal. My kids are older now, but when they were younger, they stepped away from TVs, stepped away from electronics. They just loved going there to play. And we need that for our kids. So just hope everybody votes in favor.
Any further questions about Peroni Park? Seeing none. Was there a hold on the police department? What? Okay. Okay, so then Water Enterprise Fund, new well service approval, there was a question?
Mr. Moderator, I'm concerned about the new well.
Name and address, please, for the record.
David Kane, 28 West Street.
You have to speak into the mic. I know you're tall. Lift it up to yourself. Thank you.
I'm concerned about the PFAS concentration. Where is this well to be built, and what is the PFAS concentration we can expect from that water source?
Mr. Van Schelwick, you're back. Thank you.
Am I on? Yeah. Yeah. So this well, I could actually, Cindy, can you put up the first slide and show a map of it? So on the map, it's a little tough to see. There's a red diamond there, and that's a parcel of land that the Town of Ayer DP Water Division owns, the DPW Water, and that's where the new well would be sourced. The spec pond treatment plant is on the bottom part of that picture. You can kind of see a brown area. That's where the spec pond water treatment plant is. So it would be further away, so we'd have to pump from that well to spec pond, so it's a little bit of a stretch. And we have done a test well previously, and there were PFAS concentrations in that well, and I believe they were in the 20 part per trillion range, similar to what we've seen at spec pond. But ultimately, if we do put in a well there, it would be tied into the system and treated through our spec pond water treatment plant.
Is there any alternative in terms of where we could drill this new well?
We're always looking for alternatives in the aquifer and where we can best locate things. This, as part of our water master plan, was the best location to look at next, and so far it does seem favorable, even though it does have PFAS concentrations in it. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Moderator, Dale Levandier, 3 Sandus Point, which is on the map there. We have a private well that has measured PFAS well in excess of the Massachusetts MCL. And in fact, it's one of the, we're well in excess of with the Massachusetts 6 compounds, and there's an additional compound that is of greater concentration than those. And we're right there. You know, the map that we're seeing here is not very clear, but I'm a little concerned about how good the water is going to be. We're currently, you know, using a filtration system in our home to deal with the issue.
Correct. So that would be vetted as part of the new well source approval as well. You know, are these PFAS concentrations, what are they, how would they impact the water treatment process? Would they make us spend our carbon media faster?
Right.
So that all would get taken into account in kind of a cost-benefit analysis.
Can you point out a little bit more clearly exactly where I mean, I live right there. I'm just having a hard time exactly
Mr. Manager,
visualizing.
may I use your laser?
Because I see the racetrack, what I think is the racetrack rail facility for the.
Could you do the technology, but I can't. There's a button on here I can't find. He does better.
So this triangle here, this is the parcel of land that the town owns, and the water treatment plant is down in this
Right.
area.
Right.
Correct. And this is Nemco Way.
Right, and
Westford
so in
Road.
between Nemco and that parcel is L3 Harris.
Yep.
Which is currently being investigated by Mass DEP regarding a PFAS release. Yeah, I mean, I know you know this, so just wanted folks to know.
Ms. Nearing?
Thank you, Highland Avenue. I have to support what Mr. Vander was just saying, because we don't know the PFAS source here at Speck Pond, and it is over the limit of 20 parts per trillion. And as he was trying to describe, he has a private well. It has very high PFAS in that well, and it is being filtered. I understand you're planning to filter this, but I don't understand why are we continuing to put new water supplies in places that are surrounded by commercial sources that are proven to be sources of contamination? Do we really need this well in this location? And have we truly exhausted all the other places where we could be getting water? James Brook, maybe? I'm really concerned about this.
Okay. I can't speak exactly to the master plan right now, but I know this was the next best location recommended in our master plan. And it's based on a number of factors, not just PFAS. It's, cost benefit of how close the treatment plant is to bring the water in, the high yield aquifers, where exactly those are located. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. And I guess I would just go back to saying it would be fully treated for PFAS through the carbon filters that are being installed right now at the plant. But.
Go ahead, Ms. Nearing.
Do we know that it will be treated for the kind of PFAS that's being found there? Because it is not one of the 6 regulated by Mass DEP right now. This is something we're learning a lot of new stuff about. If you don't know, there are 9,000 or so PFASs out there. We're only required to regulate for 6. The one that's in the highest level in his well is much higher than what you're quoting.
Yeah, so I guess on that question, I would say we would gear toward the 6, but carbon, in my experience, does a good job of treating. It's not just targeted PFASs like we've done with the ion exchange, but this would all be part of the process of the new well source approval. We'd have to look into, are we going to be able to treat not just for PFAS, but for any other contaminants that could be a concern and that go through our system.
Mr. Moderator?
Yes.
I am quite concerned about
Name
this
and precinct
as well.
again? Name and address again?
David Kane, 28 West Street. I'm quite concerned about this as well because actually short chain PFAS is not effectively removed by activated carbon unless it's impregnated activated carbon in some way. Do we know specifically which PFAS compounds are at this site?
We do have that data. I don't know offhand.
Unless it's all long-chain PFAS, I don't think that we have a viable strategy for removing it from the water, and I think that this is somewhat hazardous to our drinking water unless we are planning to do something besides activated carbon filtration.
Thank you. Mr. Van Chawick, I have a question regarding the master plan. Are you referring to the master plan published by the town in 2017?
No, it's a water master plan that the DPW maintains as required by DEP.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any further questions regarding the water treatment? Okay. I believe there are no more questions regarding this article. So let us take a vote for Article 13. And the motion before us is the sum of $998,000.
Order?
Yes, ma'am.
What if we don't want to vote on one item?
What's that?
What if we want to vote down one item on this list?
Excuse me, Mr. Rich? Divide the question. Okay, yes, that's a good idea.
If there's a motion to do so.
Is there a motion to divide the question is what I'm asking. All in favor of dividing the question to the 6 different components?
There's no motion
No.
made.
Divide the one issue
Okay, we'll divide out the one motion of sewer enterprise if that is requested. Do you make that motion?
I would like to
What?
make a motion to divide out the water enterprise question.
Okay. All in favor of dividing out the question so that we discuss the sewer enterprise, or water enterprise, excuse me, water enterprise of 120,000. Please say aye. Aye. All against?
No.
I believe it's an affirmative vote.
Mr. Moderator.
Ms.
Colleen
Conley, what
Conley,
purpose do you
Cambridge
rise?
Street. We have overlooked two items in this article. The, excuse me, generator from the sewer enterprise and the water enterprise.
They were not brought up as a hold.
Fine, thank you.
Thanks for asking, but we don't have to talk about what people don't want to talk about. We'll be here till 3 o'clock in the morning, and I don't want to be the first moderator to hold a 3 o'clock in the morning meeting. Let's just take first the sewer enterprise fund, the water enterprise fund for 120,000. All in favor of the appropriation of 120,000 for the water enterprise new well source approval. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All against? I believe it's an affirmative vote, and I so declare it. Now we'll take DP Highway. Yes, sir. Excuse me? Oh, it does need to be 2/3. Okay, we're going to take a counted vote. Please stand with your cards. This is only for the Water Enterprise Fund. For the 120,000 to Water Enterprise. Stage is 3, 4.
Thank you.
Do you have a number for the left side? 14 for the left side. 16 for the center. Mr. Tillett. 21 for the right side. 21? Yes, 14, 16, 21. Anybody want to do the lottery? That's a good number. Okay, let's, all those against, please rise. Suzanne, are you counting over here? Don't forget Miss Connolly. She's over on the other side of the balcony. And there's an individual way in the back by the door. What?
Well, they're not in the voting section, but they're the moderator.
They have a card. I want to get this moving.
I didn't know that, but the voting section is
Oh, no, I hear you. Okay. Even dozen. 3. 12. 12, 3, and a dozen. Well, 12, 3, and a dozen, it's 2 dozen plus 3, which is 27. Oh, thank you. Okay, and what do we have in favor?
We have 55 in favor and 27.
I noticed that earlier.
Okay, what's the percentage of that? That would be a total of 55 and 27. Go ahead, did you count it up?
Divided by a third.
Yeah.
That's 55. That's a third, right? 55 plus 27
Yeah.
is 82.
Okay, so we need
Divided by
2/3.
3, so 2/3 is 27.
Okay, 27 and 2. No, we need 2/3 in favor, so the 67%.
Meeting two.
You'll take 67% of that times 6. That's what you need.
54.
So 55 passes.
The vote is 55 to 27. It's 2/3 majority is 54, so it passes by a single vote. You counted the stage, did you not?
There's 55 and 27. There was only.
She counted the stage.
That
Ms.
was in the-
Copeland is very good at that, and she has out of 82, 55 in favor. So it passes by one vote. Now we'll take up the other, which is 998,320 less the 120,000.
Mr. Moderator?
Yes.
$878,238.
Thank you. Okay, and that number again, Mr. Hood?
$878,238.
Okay, all in favor of $870,238?
878.
What?
878.
878. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It's a unanimous vote, and I so declare it. Okay, the next article before us is Article 14, authorization for debt exclusion for the fire department, fire engine pumper. And I believe, Mr.
Mr.
Copeland?
Moderator?
Yes, Mr. Hood.
I move that the town vote to appropriate the sum of $805,000 to purchase and equip a fire engine pumper, including any incidental and related costs and expenses, and to meet this appropriation, authorize the treasurer with the approval of the select board to borrow said sum pursuant to the provision of Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 7, or any other enabling authority to issue bonds or notes of the town, provided that any borrowing or expenditure hereunder shall be contingent upon passage of a debt exclusion ballot question pursuant to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 59, Section 21C, as contained in Article 14.
Seconded.
Excuse me, was there a question? A point of order? Okay, do we have a second?
Yes, seconded.
We have a second. Any discussion? Yes, sir. Mr. Chief.
Cindy, could you bring up that slide presentation on the pumper? It's only 5 slides long. It won't take long at all. The department continues to do apparatus replacement. As you may recall, a couple of years ago, this body approved the replacement of a 2000 well-worn fire engine. We're continuing that now. As you see before you, this pumper is coming up on 30 years old. It was purchased in 1993 for $225,000. We can only wish for that now. It was refurbished in 16 for $150,000. And of course, like anything, as it gets older, the parts to replace anything that breaks gets harder. And also the pump is one of a kind. It's kind of unique to the truck, and those parts are no longer available. As the truck approaches 30 years old, it's recommended we replace it at 25. The next slide, Cindy. The truck you see before you is the 2020 pumper that we got. This would be the same type fire engine we're looking for you approved this evening. As you can see, the cost has gone up dramatically at $805,000. It would mirror the trucks or the truck that we have now. Just makes it useful so they're interchangeable amongst members driving them. And have the same things on it: power plant, lighting, pump meeting NFPA standards. The important part here, too, is this replacement allows for the continued Versix ISO rating, which is the rating the insurance service organization uses for our fire insurance ratings for our homes and businesses. And the question come up, the fire department, we deploy 2 pumpers in our fire attack. So that question come up, so we have a couple, next slide, Cindy, on why we use the 2 pumpers, which is a reasonable ask to the layperson. So the first engine would pull up to the scene, initiate fire attack or rescue or fire suppression. Our ladder truck would pull up to the front of the building, set ladders, the ladders for firefighting or rescue. And we also, as we know, ventilate with our ladder truck on the roof. This is where that second pumper comes in. They would establish a water supply. It could either lay the large hose in or out to the fire truck and boost pressure at a hydrant. Next slide, Cindy. The initial water supply we carry in those fire engines is 750 gallons. Depending on which line we use, we call it the small hand line, which is 1 3/4. That would offer 150 gallons. Depending on where you're at, that would last 5 to 10 minutes. And a 2.5-inch line at 300 gallons per minute would last about 3 to 5. This is where that supply hose would come in off the fire engine. With the 5-inch hose that we carry, we would connect to a hydrant and grab about 2,000 GPM, gallons per minute, and we can even go back to a hydrant to boost that pressure if we need. And the last slide would be the tax impact on us as taxpayers. As you see there, to the right, there's a residential and there's a commercial industrial. So the residential, this is over 20 years. There's a range depending on what the rates are set at, between 12 and 20 for residential, and the commercial industrial would be between 21 and 34. So the highs would be a high for $20 a year on the residential taxes and a high of 34 for commercial or industrial. And that's what I have, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Could I ask you a question to address the cost of insurance premiums if we didn't have up-to-date fire apparatus in town?
It would affect, I wouldn't have a direct cost, but it would impact us because the truck would not count towards that benefit of putting out a fire because it's over 30 years old.
Any questions about the fire apparatus? Yes, sir.
Dennis Curran, and I still live on Pleasant Street in Ayer. It's my understanding that we typically receive mutual aid about 5 times a year from the surrounding communities and provide mutual aid to the surrounding communities at about 25 times a year. Can you tell us how often surrounding communities have provided a pumper that you might require to fight a fire?
I believe those are the statistics that were provided for us, by us to you, correct? Is that where you're getting those from?
Yes, yes, yeah. No, I'm not making these numbers up.
No, correct.
Scouts honor.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
So we went somewhere else 20 times, so out of those 5 times, it could be an engine or a ladder is usually the request when we have a fire. But I wouldn't know if it was an engine or a ladder.
So well, I guess my point is, why would it not be reasonable to have one pumper, and if the need should arise for the second pumper, that you would then access one from Devon's, or I understand that Groton recently acquired a new pumper in 2020. And why would it not be reasonable to ask Littleton or, Devon's or Shirley or whomever that, to send the pumper?
I guess like I mentioned earlier, that fire doubles in every minute. So if we're waiting for that additional pumper to show up, we have a very extended period of time where if we don't catch it with that first engine, then things probably aren't going to go in a favorable position for us.
So you're telling us that mutual aid arriving from surrounding communities will always arrive too late?
Yeah, as a firefighting standard, we would always need 2 water supplies. 1 to put the fire out, and as a safety factor, 2, that if we don't get a water supply and one breaks, then we have no water to put out the fire, which would endanger the lives of firefighters.
So why does the notion of mutual aid exist if you are telling this community that mutual aid will not get there in time?
It's additional support to services that we can't have 6 engines and 3 ladders. We just can't feasibly do that. So we rely on mutual aid. If there's a commercial building fire, or even a large residential fire, 2 engines and a ladder just doesn't cut it, and we can't supply enough manpower to do that too.
Mr. Moderator, Alan Peterson, 4 Mulberry Circle. Chief, my house catches on fire. I'd like 2 pumpers to come, and I'd like to move the question forward.
You unfortunately cannot do that. Once you say anything, you avoid the opportunity to move the question. Sorry for that.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Bresnahan.
Kevin
For
Bresnahan,
what
4
purpose
Orchard
do
East.
you rise?
I would like to move the question, please.
You smiled first. Okay, we have a motion to terminate debate. All in favor of terminating debate, please say aye. Aye. All against? No. One negative vote. So I so declare it. It passes. Okay, all in favor of the article as written. Let me just read the motion one more time. Move that the town vote to appropriate the sum of $805,000 to purchase and equip a fire engine pumper, including any incidental and related costs and expenses, and to meet this appropriation, authorize the treasurer with the approval of the select board to borrow said sum pursuant to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 7, or any other enabling authority, and to issue bonds or notes of the town, provided that any borrowing or expenditure hereunder shall be contingent upon passage of a debt exclusion ballot question pursuant to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 39, Section 21C, is contained in Article 14. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I believe the ayes have it.
Mr. Moderator, please declare the two-thirds vote.
Okay, well, please rise. All in favor? Four up front. $24 on the left side, Susan? 24? Mr. Tillotson? 27 on the right side, and in the center. What? No, 27 on the right side, 24 on the left side, 23 in the middle. All those opposed, please stand. One, two. You count three? I counted two, but I couldn't. Oh, yes, three. Three total against. So what is the total vote?
78 in affirmative, 3 no.
78 in the affirmative, 3 in the negative. I guess we're going to propose a pumper. But this is not over because it is on the ballot on May 10th. So the voters will decide. Okay. And I so declare it. Yes, that is the vote. Okay, capital budget requests.
Mr. Moderator,
Oh, yes, Mr. Hood.
I move that the town vote to transfer the total sum of $312,696 from capital stabilization for the purposes of funding the equipment, services, and projects contained in Article 15.
Seconded.
Anybody want to discuss the capital budget? No? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All against? It's a unanimous vote, and I so declare it. Moving on to Article 16, Government Accounting Standards Board 45, Other Post-Employment Benefits Fund. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $119,000 and transfer $181,000 from free cash, totaling the sum of $300,000 to meet the town's obligations under the Government Accounting Standards Board, Section Statement 45, to fund future obligations of the other post-employment benefits. Mr. Copeland?
Mr. Moderator, I move
Yes.
that the town vote to raise and appropriate $119,000 and transfer $181,000 from free cash for a total of $300,000 to meet the town's obligations under the Government Accounting Standards Board, Statement 45, for the purposes of funding the town's future obligations for the cost of other post-employment benefits as contained in Article 16 and read by the moderator.
May I ask Mr. Bree to speak to us about the savings of this past practice of funding?
Mr. Moderator,
Oh.
there's no second.
Oh, we don't have a second. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Ms. Cabri, could you come up and tell us how much money we're saving by advancing the payments to the OPEB funds?
Mr. Moderator?
Yes.
The payments to the OPEB fund are savings for future costs related to employee benefits of retired employees from the town. It's a known liability. GASB 45 requires all towns to have an actuary report with their liabilities and start saving for that.
Excellent. Any further comments or questions about the article? Okay, we'll take a vote for Article 16. As previously read, to move that the town raise $119,000 and transfer $181,000 from free cash for a total of $300,000 to satisfy our obligations. All in favor? Please say aye. All opposed? It's a unanimous vote, and I so declare it. Moving on to Article 17. First, Mr. James.
Move that the meeting be adjourned to a time uncertain.
Well, we already moved that the meeting would be adjourned until tomorrow evening if we were to adjourn.
That's fine.
That is a debatable motion. So does anyone wish to discuss the movement to adjourn until tomorrow night? All those wishing to adjourn until tomorrow evening, please say aye. Aye. All opposed?
No.
Chair's in doubt. Let's take a counted vote, please. I hate to ask you to stand, but you'll stay awake if you do. We're counting in favor of adjourning until tomorrow night. What? Yeah, I didn't read all of them. Zero. Midsection? 7. 9. 16. Anybody on stage? No. 16. All opposed to adjourning for the night, please stand. 4. $21. 9. 13. 21, night 4. Yeah, that was in favor. I mean, opposed to, yes. Okay, we have 32 in favor, 44 against, so we're going to stick around for a little while. 47, excuse me.
I'd like to make a motion to combine Articles 17, 18, and 19 into one vote.
Okay, the motion's been made. It's been seconded. Is there any debate? All in favor of combining 17, 18, and 19, please rise. Or say aye. Please state aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. Oh, let's try that one more time. Please raise your cards. Just raise your cards. We'll see if we can get a count. For ayes, in favor of combination. If you favor combining the three articles, 17, 18, 19. 24 on the right, 14 in the center, 11 on the left, and 4 on stage. All those opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Do I need to read all 3 articles?
Left side, right side, Mr. Tillotson? What? Not 0. 11 in the center. 4. So that is 15. Okay, we will combine the 3 articles. Sometimes when people raise their voices, it's confusing because I can't tell from up here. So Article 17, do we have a motion, Mr. Hood?
Sorry, Mr. Moderator, I was talking with Mr. Rich. Are we doing all 3 together, or are they separate?
Yes, we're going to do all 3 together.
Okay. Mr. Moderator, I move that we raise and appropriate the sum of $61,900 as specified in Article 17, $30,000 as specified in Article 18, and $2,376.19 as specified in Article 19.
Seconded.
Is there any discussion on the 3 articles? Seeing none, all in favor, please. Oh, yes, Ms. Stoddard.
So my name is Marion Stoddard, and it's Autumn Ridge Drive, and I have a question on Article 18. And my question is, I see that it's sponsored by the Select Board and the Finance Committee, and I would like to know what the position of the Conservation Commission is on this article. And I would like to know whether monies that were appropriated last year or the prior year for aquatic weed control for the town ponds were used. And so my concern is, I'm not opposed to the aquatic weed control for town ponds. I think that's a good idea if done properly. But I'm concerned that money may be appropriated to be used sometime in the next 2 years that would not be expended for that purpose, and that it would just revert to the general fund.
Do we have anybody from the, yes, Mr. Chair, of the Conservation Commission? Please state your name, though, for the record.
John Schmallenberger, 2 Calvin Street. I'm the chair of the Ayer Conservation Commission. And we're fully in support of this as a commission. We came before town meeting last year with a fertilizer use bylaw. The purpose of the bylaw was to reduce the amount of fertilizer runoff that ended up into Ayer's waters, the ponds, the streams and rivers and wetlands. And the good news is that the town meeting voted to support the bylaw. And the bad news is the state shot it down. The Attorney General's office disapproved it, not because of the content of the bylaw, but because of a sort of a conflict of interest. Exactly, yeah, preempt. So we only learned of this a little while ago, and we haven't been able to get together to really discuss what our options are going forward. We think it's important to do this for the health of Ayer's waters, and the amount of money that we ask for is pretty much what we spend every year on weed treatment.
Mr. Schmallenberger, I think she asked, was the $30,000 expended last year for aquatic weed control?
Yes, it was.
Who did the weed control work?
Water and Wetlands was a new company that we hired last year for the first time. I think they did a very nice job for us. Their reporting was very thorough. I think sort of the proof is in the pudding. The ponds looked very good at the end of the year. So, yep. I mean, we didn't spend all the money, but it just sort of goes into a fund, and If we do need it, or if we ask for too little in a given year, we can have a little bit of a cushion.
So did I hear you say we didn't use all the money?
Ms. Gugino, did we use it all? No. We didn't use it all. It doesn't go away. It stays in. It's a special appropriation.
Special
Yeah.
appropriation? Okay. Do you have any further questions? Ms. Stoddard?
My further question is, do you plan to use those monies within the next 2 years for?
Ms. Stoddard asked the question, do we plan to use the money in the next 2 years for this project?
2023. Yep. Yeah, all of it.
Okay, is there any further discussion about Article 17, 18, or 19? Hearing none. We have a motion to appropriate $61,900 for the first year's interest for general fund borrowing, $30,000 for aquatic weed control for town ponds, and $2,376 for the matching funds for firefighter grant. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's a unanimous. Was there 2 over there that voted nay? If you voted nay, please raise your card. Okay, we have 1 opposed. Were you, Brett, also, sir? Were you also opposed? Okay, so there's 1 opposed, otherwise all in favor. So declare it. Funding for the reserve fund for future payments of accrued liabilities and compensated absences.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to transfer $63,837 from free cash to fund the town's reserve fund in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 13D, for future payments of accrued liability for compensated absences due to employees of the town upon termination of their employment as contained in Article 20.
Seconded.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none. There's a vote to spend $63,837 for the funding of future payments for accrued liabilities for compensated absences. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's a unanimous vote, and I so declare. Moving on to Article 21, forward funding of the town's pension assessment.
Mr. Moderator.
Yes, Mr. Hood.
I move that the town vote to transfer $300,000 from free cash for the purposes of forward funding the town's pension assessment from the Middlesex County Retirement System as contained in Article 21.
Seconded.
Is there any discussion? All in favor of spending $300,000 from free cash for the purpose of forward funding the Middlesex County Retirement? Please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's a unanimous vote, and I so declare it. Article 22, UDAG funding replenishment for Depot Square.
Mr. Moderator.
Yes, Mr. Copeland.
I move that the town vote to transfer $65,000 from free cash to replenish the Urban Development Action Grant account for the final phase of Depot Square Improvement Project as contained in Article 22.
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's a unanimous vote, and I so declare it. Stabilization Fund, Article 23.
Mr. Moderator.
Yes, Mr. Hood.
I move that the town vote to transfer $1,919,090 from free cash with $400,000 to be credited to the stabilization fund and $1,519,090 to be credited to the capital stabilization fund as contained in Article 23.
Seconded.
Is there any discussion about the stabilization fund?
Mr. Moderator?
Yes, Mr. Curran.
I'm sorry, yeah. I move to amend Article 23 as follows. Delete the phrase "with $400,000 to be credited to the stabilization fund under the provisions of Chapter 40, Section 5B of the general laws, and 1.5 to be credited to the capital stabilization fund." And I have that in writing for your use. Essentially, what I would like to do.
Could you bring that forward, please?
So the motion would be to put 1.9 into capital stabilization and not move $400,000 into the stabilization fund under Chapter 40 of Section 5B. And essentially what I would like to do, and this is piggybacking off...
Mr. Moderator.
Yes, sir.
Point of order, there hasn't been a second on this amendment.
What?
There hasn't been a second.
Is there a second to the amendment? It is now seconded. Please go ahead.
Essentially what I would like to do is, and obviously we've spent considerable time here tonight discussing these concerns regarding the spending within the fire department and the hiring of additional staff. While I understand that the federal government is picking up substantial costs for the first 3 years of the 4 new hired firefighters, all the out years will fall to the town. That is, from year 4 to year 35 will fall to the town. And I think prior to our increasing the size of the fire department, there has been a 33% increase in staffing at the fire department, if this is allowed. 33% in one department in 18 months. So what I would like to do is provide the FinCom an opportunity to become fully constituted and develop a quorum, provide the Board of Selectmen sufficient time to look into the mutual aid concerns and the financial viability and sustainability of that model. And then we will have a more informed discussion about whether or not we do indeed need these additional firefighters on staff permanently.
Thank you,
Mr. Moderator, may I speak to this to Mr. Curran's point, a couple of clarifications. First, town meeting needs to understand that the SAFER grant was authorized and approved by the Select Board on September 7th of 2021 at their meeting. So we've already hired the 4 firefighters, and they began work in February, as the chief mentioned. That's number 1. Number 2, this policy was developed when there was a FinCom in consultation with the Select Board and the finance manager and myself. Putting forward the $400,000 in stabilization is taking into account what would be year 4's impact. We have the ability to put that in stabilization now, and as I mentioned earlier, stabilization, if we have to access those funds, it requires a 2/3 vote of a town meeting. So respectfully, a lot of work went into developing Article 23, and the $400,000 is going into the stabilization fund as written. If you decide at a future meeting you don't want to use that, we're recommending that it's used for the year 4 impacts, but that decision would be for you and the lion's share in capital stabilization. So respectfully, by approving Article 23 as written is just putting this different amounts, $400,000 in stabilization and the lion's share in capital stabilization. Finally, the thought at the time of the FinCom, the Select Board, the Finance Manager, and myself, is we have an opportunity now with free cash to look ahead and plan for the year 4 impacts. If all goes as planned moving forward with free cash, we'd like to come back and put some more in stabilization. But to conclude, to make it clear, if Article 23 passes as written, it's just going into the 2 accounts, and you still have to decide in the future by a 2/3 vote.
Mr. Manager, that's a good question. Is it required that the town meeting vote to appropriate from the stabilization fund, so that if the money is appropriated tonight into that fund, that cannot be used without further vote of town meeting?
Correct, Mr. Moderator. Both the stabilization and capital stabilization by state law requires a 2/3 vote of a duly posted town meeting.
Thank you.
Point of order, Mr. Moderator. I'm afraid I don't understand. So my reading of the explanatory note dedicates that $400,000 to a single purpose.
Mr. Moderator?
Yes.
To Mr. Curran, the explanatory note is just that. It's an explanatory note.
Yep.
It is not legally binding. Only the motion in the article is.
Mr. Reach, would you like to speak to this?
Yes, Mr. Moderator, through you to the meeting, I think that what the town manager is explaining is correct. What the statute allows, Chapter 40, Section 5B, it allows for the town to establish one or more stabilization funds. Those funds are under the control of town meeting, regardless of how you characterize them. And there is a planning process, an extensive planning process. It addresses issues such as the town's bond rating and other financial rubrics that are used to judge the town essentially when it comes time for the town to do borrowings and other financial measures. And so the intent is to essentially allocate these funds to address future needs. But ultimately, town meeting decides how to use those funds. Whether they're in a special stabilization fund or a general stabilization fund, it's town meeting that decides how to spend that money by the same 2/3 vote. So even if you have a special stabilization fund, that's essentially aspirational. It's intended to earmark for that purpose, but ultimately town meeting can use that for a different purpose simply by a vote of town meeting. So I think what the town manager is explaining is that there's an extensive planning process to develop these funds and try to grow these funds for specific purposes, but ultimately the funds belong to town meeting. Town meeting would vote by a 2/3 vote from either of those funds.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Ms. Connolly?
Mr. Moderator, Mr. Rich, thank you. You answered my question before I got to ask it. But based on what you said, I would like to ask a small follow-up. And then I'll make a comment. The money, the $400,000, gentlemen, is going to the stabilization fund. While Mr. Rich used the word earmark, which is what I was hoping to hear, it's actually not specifically earmarked for firefighters. That request will still have to come back to town meeting in 3 or 4 years for a 2/3 vote. There's no way to earmark money in a municipal budget, to my understanding.
If I may, as a response, that's why I talked about it as aspirational. They're earmarked in concept, but ultimately the funds belong to town meeting. And so, yeah, it's not like they're locked in place for that purpose, but there is a planning process that's undertaken, and it's intended to demonstrate to the town and town meeting what the intention is, what the hope is for those funds. But ultimately, town meeting controls the ultimate destiny of those funds.
Thank you. So my one comment, Mr. Moderator, is, and to the body and selectmen, the anomaly of $2.5 million makes this totally feasible. And as we have all heard earlier, myself included, the firemen and the firefighters are sometimes our last resort, and we need to provide them for our benefit. Thank you.
Mr. Moderator, briefly, I think it is fair to say, and I think Mr. Pombriand, when he presented initially, talking about the size of Groton and the total budget in Groton, kind of touched on that. And that is that I think we can agree that over the last 3 years, there has been a substantial increase in property values throughout the region, including in the town of Ayer. There has also been remarkable amounts of money that have been funneled through the system from the federal government through the state to the towns and municipalities. And I fully agree that we are flush with cash. And there is a feeding frenzy going on, seeing how much you can grab. The concern I have is for the out years 4, 5, 6 to 35. Those are the years where property values stabilize, tax revenue declines, and all these positions will become a long-term burden because the fixed costs will remain. The fixed costs will remain, but the revenue may not.
Thank you, Mr. Curran, but I think we need to keep focused on what we're voting on here. years 4, 5, 6, 7 of the SAFER grant is not what we're addressing. It's the appropriation or the transfer of funds to this particular stabilization fund, which, as I concur with Mr. Rich, that it is aspirational only. So that as much as I hear your concerns, and we do want to address concerns of everyone, I think what we're voting on is an appropriation of $400,000 to the stabilization fund and the remainder to the capital stabilization fund. So seeing no one before the microphones, I'd like to close debate and ask all in favor of the transfer as, yes?
The amendment.
Oh, the amendment, I'm sorry. Yes, we have to vote on the amendment before we can conclude. All those in favor of the amendment to only support the 1.919 or 1,919,090 from free cash to the stabilization fund, capital stabilization fund, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed?
No.
Okay, the motion does not carry. So the amended motion is out, and we will go with the original motion, which is the amount of 1,919,000 from free cash, with 400,000 to go to the stabilization fund, and $1,519,090 to the capitalization fund. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. There's 2 votes against and the remainder's in support. The motion passes. The next article is Article 24, and I so declare it. And Article 24, Community Preservation Act.
Mr. Moderator,
Yes, Mr. Copeland.
I move that the town vote to appropriate the estimated fiscal year 2023 community preservation funds as follows. $10,000 to meet the administrative expenses and all other necessary and proper expenses of the Community Preservation Committee for fiscal year 2023. $110,370 for reserve for acquisition, creation, and preservation of open space, excluding land for recreational use. $110,370 for reserve for acquisition, preservation, restoration, and rehabilitation of historic resources. $110,370 for reserve for acquisition, creation, and preservation and support of community housing. $742,588 for the undesignated fund balance, as contained in Article 24.
Second.
Unfortunately, we don't have the chair of the Community Preservation Committee. Ms. Pravadakis is not able to attend tonight. Is there anyone from the Community Preservation Committee that wishes to address the article? Hearing none. Is there any further debate? Hearing none. All in favor of $10,000 towards the administrative expenses, $110,370 in reserve for open space, $110,370 for rehabilitation of historic resources, $110,370 for support of community housing, and the remainder $742,588 for the undesignated fund balance. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All, what?
The debate's over.
We're in the middle of taking a vote. You missed it.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Well, we're taking a vote because you didn't
No
come
comment? Even if
There's-
there's a hold, no?
We were taking a vote. Unless you came up to the microphone, you missed your opportunity.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know I had to say hold into the microphone, sorry.
Well, no, all you had to do was come up to the mic, as the others have
Oh,
done.
well, the timing was off, I'm sorry.
Okay, I apologize for the meeting. But we have to take the vote. And all those against? Oh, it's a unanimous vote, and I so declare it. Article 25, Community Preservation Fund, Fiscal 23, Transfer of Funds.
Mr. Moderator,
Yes, Mr. Copeland.
I move that the town vote to transfer $20,000 from the Community Preservation Fund fiscal year 2023, estimate annual revenues to be added to the amount appropriated for the Community Preservation Committee fiscal year 2023, administrative expenses under Article 24 of the annual town meeting for the purposes of due diligence, including title searches and related administrative tasks, for the potential open space acquisition as contained in Article 25 and printed in the warrant.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor of transferring $20,000 from the Community Preservation Fund estimated annual revenues to the appropriation of the Community Preservation Committee, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's a unanimous vote, and I so declare it. Article 26, Peroni Park Playground Project.
Mr.
Hood?
Moderator, I move that the town vote to transfer $400,000 from the Community Preservation Fund fiscal year 2023 balance reserve from the open space category to support the Peroni Park Playground Project to include demolition, site remediation, and construction of a new playground as contained in Article 26.
Seconded.
Is there a second? There is a second. Mr. Thomas, do you wish to speak further? I think you gave a great presentation before.
Thank you, unless there is any question.
Please come to the microphone. Is there any discussion about the additional appropriation from the Community Preservation Fund of $400,000? Ms. Maxent.
So the total cost by adding
Could
this
you name your name and address?
400,000 I'm sorry, what?
Name and address, please.
Ruth Maxent Schultz, 7 Taft Street. So the total cost from, we get $400,000 from the Community Preservation Act, and then from Article 13, it was $320,000, so the total cost is going to be $720,000 for the new playground, or is it Peroni Park include something different than that?
That is correct for both the remediation and for phase one of the rebuild.
Any further questions? Okay, we'll take a vote for $400,000 from the Community Preservation Fund to go to from the open space category to support the Peroni Park Playground Project, to include demolition, site remediation, and construction of a new playground. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's a unanimous vote, and I so declare it. Air Affordable Housing Trust. Mr. Copeland.
Mr. Moderator,
Oh, Mr. Hood.
I move that the town vote to transfer $60,000 from the Community Preservation Fund fiscal year 2023 balance from the community housing category to support the Air Affordable Housing Trust as contained in Article 27.
Seconded.
Is there any discussion? Ms. Hersey?
No, there's no discussion.
She doesn't wish to discuss it, but that's, okay. So, is there any other discussion about $60,000 to the Air Affordable Housing Trust? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Moving on to Article 28, Air Library Digitization of Records. Oh, that's a unanimous vote, and I so declare it. Thank you. You're welcome. Article 28, Air Library Digitization of Records.
Mr. Moderator,
Yes, Mr. Copeland.
I move that the town vote to transfer $25,000 from the Community Preservation Fund fiscal year 2023 balance from the historical preservation category to support the Air Library's digitization of the original hard copies of the microfilm of the Neshoba Valley Voice, formerly Turner's Public Spirit, then the Public Spirit, dating from 1869 to the present, as contained in Article 28 and printed in the warrant.
Second.
Any discussion about the appropriation of $25,000 from the Community Preservation Funds towards the digitization of the Air Library archives? Seeing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's a unanimous vote, and I so declare it. Moving on to Article 29, Community Preservation Fund, Flanagan Pond public access feasibility study in the amount of $25,000.
Mr. Moderator,
Mr. Hood.
I move that the town vote to transfer $25,000 from the Community Preservation Fund fiscal year 2023 balance from the open space category to support the Flanagan Pond Public Access Feasibility Study as contained in Article 29.
A second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote for $25,000 from the Community Preservation Fund for the Flanagan Pond Public Access Feasibility Study. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's a unanimous vote, and I so declare it. And we have Articles 30 and 31, which are bylaw articles retaining to zoning bylaw. Do we have a presentation, Mr. Archambault? Oh, excuse me. Let me ask that the motion be made first by Mr. Copeland.
You got that one? You want me to take it?
Mr. Moderator.
Yes, Mr.
I
Copeland.
I move that the town vote to amend the air zoning bylaw, section 6.0, density and dimensional regulations, subsection 6.2, schedule of dimensional requirements by deleting from the first column titled district and minimum lot area in the category light industry. Thereunder, the figure 120,000 as it appears therein, and inserting in place thereof the figure 20,000, so as to correct the minimum lot size in the light industrial zoning district as contained in Article 30.
Okay, Mr. Archambault.
Second.
Oh, do we have a second? Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Archambault.
Mr. Moderator, through you to the town meeting. This amendment is a very simple amendment, which is just proposing to correct the minimum lot size in the light industry district from 120,000 to 20,000 square feet. The planning board recently discovered in the course of doing a site plan review in this district that when the old bylaw was carried over into the new bylaw, there was the table was incorrect, and instead of 20,000 square feet, 120 was carried over, and that is incorrect. We checked with the prior bylaw. We also checked prior site plans, and we are 100% confident that 20,000 square feet is the intended lot size for the light industry district.
Thank you. Does the planning board have a report of their vote? I'm going to call on Mr. Tillotson, if you'd excuse him for a moment.
Jeff Tillotson, Ayer Planning Board, currently the chair. As far as we can tell, it's a typo when it was carried over. The bylaw used to be pros only, and the table was introduced in '89. I don't know what the year was, Mark. You probably know better than I do. And the table was introduced at 1 before the 2. I'm assuming when it was scanned, it picked up something. But it's always been 20,000 square feet. The pros always says 20,000 square feet, so we're just trying to correct the typo. Thank you. And the planning board voted in favor of this.
Thank you, Mr. Tillotson. Yes, Mr. Curran.
I guess this is a point of order. Do you live in Ayer, Mr. Archambault?
Excuse me?
Do you live in Ayer?
No, sir. I live in Nashua, New Hampshire.
So just in order to be consistent and to address concerns that
Does the
came up at
meeting
the
have
start
any
of the meeting.
concern for Mr. Archambault, our town planner, to address the meeting? I know he's an employee, but it was made earlier by Chief Gill that we bring it up under each article, so I have to honor his requests. Does anybody have any objection? See, this is where we could probably work together to figure a good way to do this so that we make the motion in the beginning, because we didn't do it with Ms. Petrossi. She lives in a neighboring town. But since we have the approval, do you have anything further to add?
No, sir.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor of making a correction from 20,000 to 120,000 because of the air. Wait, I mean, 120,000 to 20,000. All those in favor, we need a 2/3 majority. Please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Well, it's a unanimous vote. Okay, Article 31. Article 31 is before you now. And
Mr. Moderator.
who's raised? Yes, we're not there yet. We have one more article. Sorry, sir. Article 31 is the zoning bylaw amendment, Section 2 definitions.
Mr. Moderator,
Yes.
I move that the town vote to amend the air zoning bylaw, section 2.0, definitions by A, listing the definitions in correct alphabetical order, B, indenting the sub-definitions for adult bookstore, adult entertainment establishment, adult live entertainment establishment, adult motion picture theater, adult mini motion pictures theater, and substantial or significant portion as they appear under the defined term adult use, and C, deleting from the definition of dwelling unit the strike-through bold text and inserting the underlined bold text as is contained in Article 31 and printed in the warrant.
Second.
Okay, this is a complex question, so Mr. Archambault,
Yes.
do we have permission from the body to let Mr. Archambault speak? All in favor? No objections, please
Okay.
continue.
Mr. Moderator, through you to the town meeting. Cindy, if you could put up the slide, it might be a little easier to read. Yes, with the color coding, it's a little bit easier to read. Basically, this amendment is proposing just to put all 17 pages of the definition section of the air zoning bylaw in correct alphabetic order. Also, we discovered that some of the definitions under adult use were not indented properly, so, there's a little confusion there. And also, we're tidying up the definition of dwellings and dwelling units. One clarification that I wanted to make is that we are not proposing to do away with accessory apartments. We still have a whole section on that in the bylaw. We're just taking it out of that location because it's redundant. So basically, the intent here is just to make the definitions of dwelling a little bit more specific and consistent with the state law.
Mr. Tillotson, does the planning board have a report? Voted unanimously. Thank you. Is there any further questions about the clarification of languages written in Article 31's motion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's a unanimous vote, and I so declare it. Now we have a citizen's petition to rezone 27 Harvard Road, Lot 35-21, from general residence to general business. Yes, for what
Mr.
purpose do you
Moderator.
rise, Mr. Becker?
I move that town meeting will vote to rezone 27 Harvard Road, lots 35 through 21 from general residence to general business. Mr. Maxon's here tonight. He has a piece of paper. Sorry, I need a second on that. Yeah.
We have a second.
All right, if I could just discuss this for a second. Mr. Maxon's here tonight. He has a piece of paper that shows that he's been paying the business tax rate on this parcel, regardless of the color it was on some zoning map that somebody looked at. We all know that our zoning maps have been messed up pretty badly for quite a while. So I would like to yield the remainder of my time to Mr. Maxon.
Okay, is there any,
Mr. Maxon is not a resident of this town.
is there any objection to Mr. Maxon, who's a taxpayer for the town of Ayer, to speak to the meeting regarding his article or his citizen petition? No objection, but before we do, Mr. Tillotson, could you give your report from the planning board?
Thank you. This has been a technical issue. The planning board looked at the technicality of it and did not vote in favor of this. I'm taking off my hat as the chairman of the planning board. I'm now a resident, Jeff Tillotson, 15 Oak Ridge Drive, and I stand in support of this article, and I would hope that the body would support it also. Thank you.
Before you go, could you tell us what the vote was of the planning board?
There were 0 in favor, 2 opposed, and 3 abstentions.
Is there anyone else from the planning board that wishes to address their particular vote, either an abstention or negative, so that we get the flavor of the entire board? No one else wishes to speak. So, Mr. Maxon, would you like to address the meeting? Yes, please come to the mic. Please state your name and address for the record.
Theodore Maxon. My residence is Still River, Massachusetts. I purchased these two pieces of properties, one probably 3 years ago, which was zoned residential, and in the annual town meeting, fall town meeting, you unanimously voted to make it highest and best use general business. The second piece I purchased from Global Energy when they moved across the street with their new gas station. And at the time, in December 22nd of 2020, the administrative office said that 27 Harvard Road is zoned general business. So before making the purchase, I checked with the town classification form, and under zone, it says general business. Last year, in November, you even referred to it as general business when you passed for 29. The tax bill is $10,000 a year. That's the highest rate. That's the general business rate. Historically, this place has been a gas station and a store for almost 100 years. There's never been a residence on it, and the place is not suitable for residency. And Global Gas Station positively doesn't want a residence over there for liability, children's problems, and traffic, et cetera, et cetera. The only conflict here is the map, which doesn't coordinate with all the other documents. So this evening, in this article, asks you to zone both parcels the highest and best use for the town of Ayer, general business.
Thank you, Mr. Maxon. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the issue? Mr. Archambault?
Mr. Moderator, were you calling on me, or did you think I raised my hand?
I just wondered if you had anything to address.
Oh, no,
the town planner.
but as a planner, I do support this article. I think it makes sense for that side of Groton Harvard Road to be entirely zoned general business.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak to the issue? Hearing none, let's take a vote. All in favor of transferring the zoning classification for 27 Harvard Road, Lot 3521, from general residence to general business, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's a unanimous vote, and I so declare it.
Mr. Moderator,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Oh, before we do that, I wanted to take a moment. Yes, there is a motion on the floor. And it is debatable.
How come it's
What's
not
that?
on? I've been waiting all night to speak, and I only have like a 1-minute thing to read. So before you adjourn, I've been waiting the whole night just to say something.
Well, that's up to the meeting now, because Mr. Copeland made the motion.
Mr. Moderator, you told me that I was going to be able to read when everything was done, and I waited until everything was done.
I understand that I did say that we'd like to, well, we could take a motion to
It's a
adjourn.
1-minute document.
Okay. So we'll ask the meeting. Do you want to adjourn and then listen to Ms. Peralt? Or do you want to listen to Ms. Peralt and then adjourn? What's that again? Okay, so I'll ask for a motion then. We have a motion on the floor to adjourn. If you wish to listen to Ms. Peralt, please vote negative. All those in favor of adjournment? No. All those in favor of continuing the meeting for a few brief minutes? Okay, Ms. Peralt, you have the floor. 1 minute.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Good evening, Mr. Moderator. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Denise Peralt. I live at 181 Willard Street. I am here on behalf of the Devon's Crest Tenant Association. The Devon's Crest Tenant Association is working to preserve the affordability of over 100 apartments in the Devon's Crest neighborhood of Ayer. This work is urgent because the housing prices are rising exorbitantly in our region, across the state, and across the country. We want not only to preserve the affordability, but to preserve our community. Many families have been in Ayer for decades. Our families have no place to go that is affordable. Our lives have been woven into the fabric of the neighborhood, the community, the Ayer school community, and other community groups. We want to remain in Ayer. We are developing a plan with professional, state-sponsored affordable housing experts. We hope to bring a plan to a future town meeting that town officials, this late, you and the voters will support. Thank you for allowing me to speak, and I hope you support the families at Devon's Crest. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Peralt. Mr. Bresnahan?
I'm sorry. Oh.
Okay, go ahead, Kevin. I gave some people the opportunity, if they wish to speak about positive things going on in Ayer, to just mention briefly what they were doing. And Mr. Bresnahan was going to speak about the road race coming up in May.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. As you mentioned, we are very happy that the Janice Bresnahan Run for Education is back on after COVID. So everybody, welcome everybody. 5K run, 2-mile walk, 2K fun run on Sunday, May 15th. Registration at 10 a.m.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
We have one last request. Ms. Nearing.
I'll do this in 30 seconds. I represent PACE, people of Ayer concerned about the environment. I spoke to many of you as you walked in. We have a wonderful opportunity to get your blood tested for free for PFAS that you may have been consuming in your drinking water. It is being filtered out. This is a chemical that stays in your body for a long time. It's a wonderful opportunity if you've lived here long enough. I've got flyers outside. We're also doing a fun thing. We're going to remove water chestnuts, which is a horrible invasive plant from Grove Pond this summer, so we need help with that. Love to have you join us. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wants to make a quick announcement? Okay. Mr. Copeland. Oh, Mr. Tillotson.
The Ayer Recycling Committee has been is back in action, and May 14th is townwide cleanup this year. It's going to be a little bit late, but 8 a.m. place to be determined. But 8 a.m. till 1 p.m. on Saturday, the day before the Bresnahan run. So let's make the town look good for the run.
Okay, thank you.
This year.
Okay. The motion has been made to adjourn the meeting. All in favor of adjourning the meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion's unanimous. 11:10 p.m. The meeting is dissolved.